Chapter 61. When Long Yu stood up and said such a sentence, the entire audience was shocked by him once again. Feng Chang'e was stunned for a moment before he snapped. Xiao Yu, I stayed because my surname is Feng. But did you forget how the people of the Feng clan treated you? Hurry up and leave with Xiao Yao. Long Yu smiled faintly. Godfather, you're the only family I have in this life. How could I let you stay behind and fight alone? Feng Chang'e didn't know what to say for a moment. His eyes were filled with worry, anxiety, and gratitude. He was excited that Long Yu was willing to stay behind and fight with him. However, what could a mere Long Yu do against the alliance of the three great clans? Ha ha! Feng Chang'e, your father-son relationship is really touching. Qin Duan laughed loudly and looked at Long Yu with murderous eyes. This kid killed my son, Tian Quebec. I wanted to kill him for a long time. Since he didn't cherish the opportunity to leave and insisted on staying, why not let us see how powerful he is? Who knows, he might be able to fight against the three great clans by himself. Haha. The last sentence was said in a mocking tone, causing the hundreds of people from the three great clans to burst into laughter. The three great clans had a total of more than 100 people present. Among them, the three great clan masters were all at the 9th level of the martial path. Did Emir Long Yu think he could defeat them? In his dreams, everyone felt that Long Yu was digging his own grave by staying behind, including the disciples of the Feng clan. I don't care what you think. I will stand here today. Long Yu looked around and took in everyone's expressions. He then said in a firm tone, I, Long Yu, grew up in the Feng clan. Even though Godfather was the only one who treated me well, Godfather's clan is my clan. Today, I will not stand by and watch the Feng clan perish. Members of the Feng clan, if you believe me and want to fight with me and Godfather, then stay. If you don't believe me, then leave the Feng clan right now. The further, the better. In the future, you will have nothing to do with the Feng clan. When Long Yu's words came out, all the disciples of the Feng clan were stunned. Long Yu, the powerful cultivator who defeated Feng Yun, was willing to stay and die with the Feng clan. In fact, everyone in the Feng clan knew that when Long Yu was still a cripple, the people of the Feng clan harshly made things difficult for him. But now, when the Feng clan was about to perish, it was Long Yu who stood firmly in front of them. I'm leaving. Among the Feng disciples, the sturdy Feng Yang coldly snorted and then stood up. Long Yu, the wandering soul's glove on your hand belongs to my sister, Feng Chanqian. Now, she has lost her life in ancient ginseng forest, yet you are wearing her glove to show off your power. Now, you are tempting the disciples of the Feng clan to die with you. Bah, dream on. Long Yu calmly looked at Feng Yang and said, as everyone knows, Feng Chanqian died in the hands of Yu Qining of the Thousand Thread sect. Instead of finding trouble with Yu Qining, you are deliberately making things difficult for me. I want to ask you, do you really want the entire Feng clan of Jade Gate City to be erased from today onwards? Hearing this, Feng Yang held his breath. He wanted him to find trouble with Yu Qining of the Thousand Thread sect. Even if he was beaten to death, he would not dare to go. Feng Yang coldly snorted and did not say anything else. He turned around and left. No matter what, he would not stay. Brother Yang, wait for me. Feng Yun's brother, Feng Luo, hurriedly chased after Feng Yang and wanted to leave with him. Feng Luo was thinking that after leaving, he would be able to find his father, Feng Changtian, and Feng Yun. With his father around, he would still be able to live a good life. The departure of the two caused many people to become restless. Since you guys are not leaving, I will leave with Yao. Lu Yu coldly sneered and pulled her daughter Feng Yao's hand, turning around and leaving. Feng Yao did not speak, did not stop, and did not look back. However, when they reached the entrance of the Feng residence, Lu Yu could not help but turn around and look at Feng Chang'e. You are really not leaving? Lu Yu asked. I am not leaving. Feng Chang'e replied without hesitation. Forget it if you are not leaving. Lu Yu angrily turned around and pulled Feng Yao away. Feng Chang'e looked at the backs of the two leaving. His face was a little depressed, but it quickly turned into determination. No matter what Feng Chang'e would not abandon the Feng clan like Feng Changtian. I am leaving. Today, the Feng clan will not be able to escape. Staying is just courting death. I am leaving too. Only a fool would stay and fight to the death with the three major families. I do not want to leave. I have decided to join the Qin clan. With my talent, I will definitely be able to obtain good training resources in the Qin clan. There were more than 400 people in the Feng clan, and they quickly made their decisions. Among them, there were more than 100 who decided to leave, and more than 100 who decided to join the three major families. In the end, there were less than 40 people standing behind Long Yu and Feng Chang'e. However, these 40 people were the young disciples of the Feng clan, full of vigor and vitality. Their martial cultivation was not bad as well. It was because of these youths that their hearts were filled with hot blood, moved by Long Yu and Feng Chang'e, and decided to stay and die with the Feng clan. To think that only the 42 of you would stay. Feng Chang'e sighed. Clan head, you have always treated us well. How could we abandon you when the Feng clan is in danger? That's right, clan head. The other direct descendants of the Feng clan treated us like servants. Only you, clan head, often came to teach us cultivation and martial techniques. Even if I die, I, Feng Xiaofei, will die with clan head. I, Feng Haofeng, used to be a servant of the Feng clan. It was clan head who discovered my talent and bestowed me the surname Feng, making me a branch disciple. This junior will never forget your kindness. The 42 people who stayed were all emotional. Their words made the disciples of the Feng clan who chose to leave unable to lift their heads. Good, good. Today we will fight to our heart's content. Tears rolled down the corners of Feng Chang'e's eyes. He had not expected so many people to stand firmly behind him at a time like this. Well done. Long Yu praised in his heart. He raised his head and looked at the disciples of the Feng clan who had walked behind the three major families. A cold glint flashed across his eyes. These people, Long Yu will definitely make them regret it. Let's fight. Long Yu took a heavy step forward. Godfather, you stay here and watch over them. I will go meet them first. Shall you? Feng Chang'e was shocked when he heard that. Just as he was about to stop Long Yu, he saw Long Yu's figure flash, and he had already left. Qin clan head, Qin Duan. Long Yu turned into a gentle breeze and appeared in front of Qin Duan in an instant. He shouted, You said that I killed your son, Qin Tianke, but you didn't know that it was your son who was shameless and despicable and wanted to kill me. Who can you blame for Qin Tianke's death? Following this shout, a pale golden light flashed on Long Yu's hand. The demon subduing Vajra seal was unleashed. Qin Duan did not expect Long Yu to attack so quickly. In a hurry, Qin Duan waved his hand and circulated the Xian Qi in his body. The Qin clan's inherited martial skill, the green wind movement technique, formed a green wind screen in an attempt to block Long Yu's attack. Heaven's suppressing charm. Long Yu released a burst of suppressive energy that instantly descended upon Qin Duan's body, firmly suppressing him to the ground. Even the green wind screen had become much weaker than it had been before. Kaboom! The pale golden palm slammed down, instantly shattering the defensive barrier formed by the movement technique. Not too long ago, when Long Yu faced Qin Tianke's green wind screen in the soaring snake abyss, he was completely helpless. In the end, he relied on the blink wind step to break through to the peak, and only then did he manage to deceive Qin Tianke and kill him by surprise. But now, Long Yu was facing Qin Tianke's father and casually smashed the green windscreen into pieces. The demon subduing Vajra seal condensed in Long Yu's hand as he continued to slam his palm downwards. However, as the green windscreen was shattered by him, Qin Duan finally displayed his movement skill and rapidly retreated a few meters back. His face was already covered with cold sweat. Long Yu's strength was too terrifying. Qin Duan alone was definitely not a match for him. Shadow Step. At this time, the Tan clan's elder finally reacted and immediately displayed the Tan clan's martial skill, Shadow Step. In an instant, he arrived beside Long Yu. Sky-shattering palm. The Tan clan's elder's aged face was filled with ruthlessness as he unleashed his sky-shattering palm at the perfection realm. It seemed that he wanted to kill Long Yu in one blow. Demon subduing Vajra seal. Long Yu turned around, and his palm emitted a faint golden light as he met the Tan clan's elder head-on. Boom! When the two of them clashed, they both took a few steps back. Both of them had grave expressions on their faces. This old man has been at the 9th level of the martial path for more than 10 years. His mastery of celestial qi far surpasses Ling Lai's. Long Yu squinted his eyes as he thought to himself, surround Feng Chang'e and the others first. Don't let them escape. The Luo clan's master, Luo Chenghui, had a refined temperament and a cunning look in his eyes. He pointed at Feng Chang'e and ordered, wait until the three of us join forces and take down Long Yu. That will be the day of the Feng clan's destruction. As soon as he finished speaking, Luo Chenghui's figure flashed, and he moved to surround Long Yu. The 3 9th level martial path cultivators surrounded Long Yu in an instant, and in the next moment, they all launched their attacks. Feng Chang'e and the remaining 42 disciples of the Feng clan were surrounded by the 3 great clans. There was no way they could escape. The 3 great clans had sent a total of more than 104th level martial path cultivators and more than 100 traders from the Feng clan. In total, there were more than 200 people surrounding the Feng mansion. Xiao Yu. Feng Chang'e couldn't help but worry for Long Yu when he saw him surrounded. Godfather, don't worry, Long Yu shouted. Facing the attacks of 3 9th level martial path cultivators, a faint golden light appeared on the surface of his body. Demon subduing Vajra barrier. The Tan clan's elder, Qin Duan, and Luo Chenghui's attacks instantly landed on Long Yu. Chapter 62. Long Yu didn't move, but the 3 patriarchs each took a big step back. How is this possible? The Tan family's ancestor's expression changed. He had used 70% of his strength in the sky-shattering palm. But even so, it didn't break Long Yu's demon-subduing Vajra shield. The reason why he didn't use his full strength was because he wanted to defend against the other 2 patriarchs while dealing with Long Yu. The other 2 patriarchs, Qin Duan and Luo Chenghui, naturally had the same idea as the Tan family's ancestor. Therefore, even if the 3 patriarchs of the 9th stage of the martial path joined hands, they couldn't cause any damage to Long Yu. Continue. Qin Duan's eyes flashed fiercely. He knew that based on the punch that Long Yu had used to defeat Feng Yun, the 3 of them couldn't give Long Yu the slightest chance to breathe. Otherwise, it was hard to say who would win and who would lose. As soon as his voice fell, Qin Duan first displayed the Jintian clan's upper-rank martial skill, soul-capturing palm. Qin Duan was also a disciple of the Jintian clan in his early years, but he couldn't break through to the 8th stage of the martial path until he was 30. Therefore, he could only retreat and take charge of the Qin family, aiming to cultivate the next generation of geniuses of the Qin family. Therefore, Qin Duan could also use some of the Jintian clan's martial skills. But because of the Jintian clan's rules, he couldn't pass on these martial skills to his descendants. If the descendants of the Qin family wanted to learn the Jintian clan's martial skills, they could only join the Jintian clan. Qin Duan had high hopes for Qin Tianke, but he didn't expect that he would be killed by Long Yu not long after becoming an inner disciple. This hatred was absolutely irreconcilable. As soon as the soul-capturing palm was displayed, a claw-emitting black fog suddenly grabbed at Long Yu. The speed was so fast that even Long Yu couldn't dodge it. Great completion realm. Long Yu's heart trembled. He could see that Qin Duan had reached the greater success stage of the soul-capturing palm. With Qin Duan's cultivation at the 9th stage of the martial path, Qin Duan could easily immobilize him. At that moment, the patriarch of the Tan family and Luo Chenghui seized the opportunity and attacked Long Yu from the front and back with a palm and a fist respectively, bringing with them gusts of howling winds. Demon vanquishing tyrant body, Dantian throbbing break. Long Yu gave a loud shout, and his refined Dantian began to beat like a heart, instantly causing the profound qi in his whole body to boil, and actually broke through the shackles of the soul, capturing hand in a flash. With his consummate demon subduing tyrant body and his soul capturing palm, which was only at the consummate realm, it was undoubtedly a fool's dream to trap him. However, at this moment, the patriarch of the Tan family and Luo Chenghui's fist and palm were also right in front of him. Ghost transformation, flash. The profound qi in Long Yu's body became restless, and he instantly displayed the transcendent martial skill, Ghost Flash. His entire body slid to the side, and with great difficulty, he managed to avoid the pincer attack of the other two. Keep going. The three family heads did not give Long Yu the slightest chance to catch his breath. They continued to attack from 3 different directions. This can't go on. 1 against 3 is too much of a disadvantage. I have to cripple one of them first. A cold light flashed in Long Yu's eyes, and then the profound qi in his whole body surged, instantly transforming into a trace of netherworld qi, which began to condense in his right fist. The patriarch of the Tan family is the biggest threat. I'll cripple him first. Long Yu turned to face the patriarch of the Tan family, and the netherworld qi suddenly surged out. When he waved his fist, an eerie road to the underworld was simulated. Boom! The patriarch of the Tan family was enveloped by the road to the underworld, and as if he had been struck by lightning, he temporarily lost consciousness. Dragon Fist of the Underworld, drunk in the underworld, kill. Long Yu's body turned into a light breeze, and he instantly followed the simulated road to the patriarch of the Tan family, who was in a daze, and threw a punch at his Dantian. Bang! The heavy punch carried a strange and deep profound netherworld qi, and it instantly invaded the patriarch of the Tan family's body, causing his face to turn black, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. His whole body was sent flying 10 feet away, and he fell heavily to the ground, dying. However, at this time, the other 2 people also attacked from behind Long Yu. Taking advantage of the time, when Long Yu crippled the patriarch of the Tan family, Qin Duan used the perfect realm of mysterious windbreak, and Luo Chenghui condensed 3 cold dragon profound qi and hit Long Yu's back. Puff! Even though Long Yu had cultivated the perfect realm of demon subduing tyrant body, he could not help but spit out a mouthful of blood at this time. Dodge! Without any hesitation, Long Yu activated the blizzard boots with all his strength, and then used the wind flicker step. In the blink of an eye, he flashed not far away to prevent Qin Duan and Luo Chenghui from continuing to attack. A burst of cold qi seeped into the meridians in Long Yu's body, causing all the meridians in his body to freeze and tremble. The patriarch of the Luo family, Luo Chenghui, actually used the martial skill of the ice sect, Cold Dragon Break. It could be seen that he was a disciple of the ice sect when he was young. As for Qin Duan's move, the mysterious windbreak, it slashed several deep wounds on Long Yu's back, causing blood to continuously drip from his back. Long Yu risked his life to cripple the strongest patriarch of the Tan family, but then he also suffered a serious injury. Grandfather! A cry of pain came from the crowd. From the Tan family, a girl in a red dress jumped out and quickly came to the side of the Tan family's patriarch who had fallen to the ground. This girl in the red dress was Tanya. At this time, Tanya's face was covered with tears. She never thought that today's tragic battle would cause her grandfather to suffer such a heavy injury. At a glance, she only saw that her grandfather's body was covered with a strange black qi, making her grandfather incomparably weak. Even an expert at the 9th level of the martial Dao would become extremely weak after being corroded by the netherworld qi. The Tan family's patriarch's old eyes were cloudy as he looked at Tanyu's beautiful face, his face still filled with doting love. Without grandfather, in the future, you must learn to grow up. As his voice fell, the Tan family's patriarch's breathing stagnated and his heart suddenly stopped beating. He was already old, unlike Feng Yun, who was young and strong. After being struck by Long Yu's 9 Nether Dragon Fist, The netherworld chi entered his body and wreaked havoc, instantly killing him. Tan Yu was stunned on the spot. Her grandfather had died, just like that. She suddenly realized that after losing her grandfather's doting, she had already become nothing in this world. Even her father, Tan Hung, was currently at the 8th level of the martial Dao. Even in Jade Pass City, a cultivation of the 8th level of the martial Dao was nothing. With Tan Heng's cultivation of the 8th level of the martial Dao, it was too difficult to support the Tan family. Tan Yu suddenly felt a little regret. Why did she provoke Long Yu back in the Heaven Suppression Canyon? She regretted that she had always been unruly and willful. She had clearly caused trouble for her grandfather, but now her grandfather had become Long Yu's target. Tan Yu's eyes flashed with hatred as she raised her head to look at Long Yu. This ruthless Long Yu is also seriously injured. There is no way he will leave alive today. Grandfather, don't worry. Patriarch Qin and Patriarch Luo will avenge you. Long Yu looked at the Tan family's patriarch and Tan Yu from afar. At this moment, he felt a little depressed. However, in this world where martial arts were respected, where human lives were like grass, life and death were extremely common. Furthermore, Long Yu had only been facing it all this time. Vicious and merciless? Long Yu denied it in his heart. He was only giving them a taste of their own medicine. He had never taken the initiative to cause trouble. It had always been others provoking him. Right now, he only wanted to protect the Feng clan for his foster father. If he failed, then the one to die would be himself and the 42 hot-blooded disciples of the Feng clan who stood behind him. Long Yu, you're really something. Dealing with Feng Yun and Tan Rongfei with one punch, I'm impressed. Qin Duan saw the death of the Tan family's patriarch. Not only did he not feel sorry, he even laughed. Now that you're seriously injured, how will you face me and Brother Luo? It seems that Jade Gate City will belong to our Qin and Luo clans from now on. The Tan family was unhesitatingly excluded by Qin Duan. Without the Tan family's patriarch, Tan Rongfei, the Tan family was not qualified to share the benefits of destroying the Feng clan with the other two clans. Luo Chenghui quietly walked behind Long Yu. His temperament was elegant, but his eyes were as cunning as a fox. He did not say a word, but his eyes never left Long Yu. Luo Chenghui's calculations were flawless. He would never let Long Yu escape. Otherwise, even if the two clans shared Jade Gate City, it would not be safe. Patriarch. At this moment, a group of people's orderly footsteps came from the street outside the Feng residence. Everyone looked over and saw a group of experts of the 8th stage of the martial path from the 3 clans. They were all dressed in black, carrying 2 corpses. Looking closely, weren't those 2 corpses Feng Zhantian and Feng Yun? Feng Zhantian wanted to abandon the Feng clan and escape with Feng Yun. But how could he escape from the joint pursuit of the 3 clans? At this moment, both of them died at the hands of the 3 clans. Ha ha ha! Feng Zhantian and Feng Yun are dead. What's there to fear about the Feng clan? Qin Duan laughed heartily, causing the Qin disciples in the crowd to become excited. It seemed that today, the Qin and Luo clans were the biggest winners. After the Feng clan was wiped out in one fell swoop, the Feng clan's nearly 10 combat weapons, many spiritual herbs, and even some of the Feng clan's women would belong to them. After the Feng clan was destroyed, if they fancied a woman of the Feng clan, who would dare to disobey? It's a pity that the Tan clan's ancestor is dead. Luo Qinghui's eyes flickered as he looked at the experts of the Tan clan, who brought back Feng Yun and Feng Zhangtian's corpses. Just now, Senior Tan Rongfei was killed by Long Yu with a single punch. It's really infuriating. Fortunately, we managed to injure him. Now, he's not far from death. As soon as Luo Chenghui said this, a total of 4 Tan clan's 8th-stage martial path experts in black robes glared at Long Yu. Among the 4 of them, there were the Tan family's patriarch's sons, nephews, and brothers. Leave this kid's life to us. One of the 4 roared as he put down Feng Yun's corpse and charged straight at Long Yu. We're here to help you. The other 3 shouted loudly. All of them condensed their profound qi towards Long Yu, and unleashed extremely tyrannical attacks. The two of us will also lend you a hand. As Luo Chenghui spoke, he nodded at Qin Duan and followed closely behind the four, attacking Long Yu. Chapter 63. When Qin Duan, Luo Chenghui, and the other four experts of the Tan clan attacked Long Yu together, Feng Chang'e immediately exclaimed, "You!" Feng Chang'e took a step forward, wanting to help. However, an expert of the Qin clan, who was at the 8th stage of the martial path, snorted coldly and blocked his way. "Where do you think you're going? Don't even think about running around. Otherwise, even if the patriarch doesn't come, I will be able to take care of you." More than 200 martial cultivators did not attack Feng Chang'e and the 42 people behind him because they wanted to reduce unnecessary casualties. They were waiting for Qin Duan and Luo Chenghui, the two experts of the 9th stage martial path, to arrive so that they could easily kill Feng Chang'e and the others. Seeing that Long Yu was about to be killed by the 6 experts, the 42 people were filled with indignation and excitement. "Everyone, don't panic." Seeing this, Feng Chang'e hurriedly stopped them. "Right now, we can only choose to believe in you." The remaining 42 people were only at the 5th or 6th stage of the martial path. If they were to move, everyone would die. The only thing they could do now was to hope that Long Yu would be able to defeat them. Believe in Long Yu? Huh. Don't make people laugh their heads off. Whether it was the experts of the 3 major clans or the disciples of the Feng clan, they all looked at the besieged Long Yu with a mocking smile. Facing 2 experts of the 9th stage of the martial path, Qin Duan, Luo Chenghui, and 4 experts of the 8th stage of the martial path from the Tan clan, how could the seriously injured Long Yu survive? What wishful thinking! In the field, Long Yu was surrounded by 6 people. The more dangerous it was, the calmer he became. "You want to suppress me with numbers?" Long Yu suddenly released the heaven-suppressing charm. If he wanted to fight against a group of people, the key was to comprehend the heaven and earth laws. As soon as the heaven-suppressing charm was released, a suppressive force suddenly descended from the sky, enveloping the 6 people who were besieging him. It was obvious that the 6 people's speed had significantly decreased. Long Yu, who had comprehended the heaven-suppressing divine charm, was much stronger than an ordinary 9th stage martial Dao cultivator. Under the suppression of the heaven-suppressing charm, the 4 experts of the Tan clan, who were at the 8th stage of the martial path, found it difficult to even breathe. Even Qin Duan and Luo Chenghui, who were the 9th stage of the martial path, were greatly affected. However, even though they were suppressed by the heaven-suppressing charm, the 6 of them still charged at Long Yu. No matter how weakened they were individually, they would still pose a great threat to Long Yu if they joined forces. However, at this time, the profound qi in Long Yu's body was frozen by Luo Chenghui's palm, and all the meridians in his body were almost frozen. Not to mention fighting against the 6 people, he couldn't even use his movement skill for the time being. If this went on, Long Yu would definitely die. This world has had its own unique laws since ancient times. Some of these laws of heaven and earth are recorded by martial cultivators in the form of mental cultivation methods. By cultivating these mental cultivation methods, one can attempt to comprehend certain laws of heaven and earth. The comprehension of the laws of heaven and earth starts at the conception stage, where one can initially feel the existence of the laws of heaven and earth. After that is the divine charm. One can communicate with the laws of heaven and earth and borrow the power of the laws of heaven and earth. After the divine charm is the comprehension of the power of the laws of heaven and earth. Borrowing the power of the laws of heaven and earth to condense the power of the laws of heaven and earth. The power is more than 10 times stronger than the divine charm. A light flashed in Long Yu's eyes. As he thought about it, he forcefully circulated the heaven-suppressing charm in his body. As his tempered dantian throbbed, the frozen meridians in his body gradually recovered, and profound qi flowed through the meridians in his body. He had usually circulated this route tens of thousands of times. It was the basic mental cultivation method of the heaven-suppressing charm. Every time he circulated it, he felt that his understanding of the laws of heaven and earth had deepened. At this moment, facing the crisis of being besieged by 6 experts, Long Yu's heartbeat accelerated. At this moment, the heaven-suppressing charm seemed to have undergone a transformation. Heavenly vein, break for me. Within Long Yu's body, the connection between the heavenly vein and the heaven and earth suddenly strengthened, allowing him to feel the power of the laws of heaven and earth. I've mastered it. This is the power of heaven and earth. Between heaven and earth, the laws of heaven and earth exist everywhere. As long as I can strengthen my connection with the heaven and earth, I can borrow the power of the laws of heaven and earth. A cold light flashed in Long Yu's eyes. At this moment, he had finally mastered the power of heaven and earth. Not only was it a great breakthrough in his martial cultivation, but it also allowed him to calmly face the current predicament he was facing. Power of heaven and earth, suppression. Long Yu took a step forward and unleashed the powerful power of heaven and earth. Like layers of raging waves, it swept towards the 6 people besieging him. Boom, boom, boom. Wave after wave, the power of heaven and earth completely suppressed the 6 people. Long Yu borrowed the power of heaven and earth not only by relying on his own strength, but also the power of heaven and earth. How could cultivators in the body-tempering realm, who were only in the 8th or 9th layer of the martial path, resist the power of heaven and earth? As soon as the power of heaven and earth was unleashed, the 6 people instantly froze on the spot, as if they were being suppressed by a terrifying force. Each of them felt like they had used up all their strength. Their veins popped out and cold sweat poured down their faces. Not only the 6 people besieging Long Yu, but even the people nearby could feel an invisible force shrouding the place where Long Yu was, causing everyone to feel an indescribable pressure when they looked at Long Yu. This kind of oppressive feeling made them have a bad feeling at the bottom of their hearts. Suppress. Long Yu took another step forward. His celestial chi broke through the heavenly meridian and merged with the heaven and earth. The terrifying pressure instantly landed on the 6 people besieging him, causing them to spit out mouthfuls of blood. Before they could attack Long Yu, they were already injured and spitting out blood. Initially, they were confident of winning and wanted to get rid of Long Yu. But now, under the power of heaven and earth that Long Yu had comprehended, they had no choice but to be completely suppressed. The power originated from the heaven and earth, and was the power of the laws of heaven and earth. Long Yu's heavenly meridian was connected, and he had comprehended the power of heaven and earth. Once released, he could use the power of the laws of heaven and earth to fight and suppress his opponent. This power was the absolute power of suppression. Unless there was a huge difference in the realm of martial cultivators, or they had also comprehended the power of the laws of heaven and earth, it was impossible to resist the suppression of the power of heaven and earth. Qin Duan. Long Yu snorted coldly and took a big step forward. To be honest, your daughter Qin Ronger still owes me a life. If it weren't for me, she would have died in the mouth of the soaring Serpent King. Not only did she not say a word of thanks, she even wanted to join forces with Qin Tianke to kill me and steal my pill. Don't you think it's your responsibility as a father to raise such a daughter? Qin Duan vomited blood under the suppression of the power of heaven and earth. His face was pale. He wanted to say something, but under the suppression of the power of heaven and earth, he couldn't even say a word. I feel that you are no longer suitable to be the Qin clan leader. You should reflect on your actions. Long Yu's figure flashed, and in the next moment, he appeared in front of Qin Duan, his palm emitting a faint golden light. Demon subduing Vajra seal. Long Yu struck out with his palm, and Qin Duan didn't even have the slightest ability to resist. His whole body was sent flying by the slap, slamming heavily into the courtyard wall of the Feng clan residence and falling to the ground. Father. Qin Ronger was originally full of hope, thinking that she would definitely be able to avenge her brother Qin Tianke today. Who would have thought that Long Yu had comprehended the power of heaven and earth and sent Qin Duan flying with a slap? Listening to Long Yu's words, Qin Ronger wanted to find a hole to hide in. Returning kindness with enmity was against common sense. Even in the heavenly mandate continent where martial arts were respected, if this were to spread, people would look down on her. Now, she was a little regretful. Why did she want to kill Long Yu and steal the inner core of the soaring Serpent King? She started running, wanting to run to her father's side. However, she just entered the range of the dragon, resisting the heavens and earth momentum, when she immediately felt a terrifying and enormous force pressing down on her, causing her entire body to be completely suppressed. She fell heavily onto the ground and couldn't even get up. A dignified person at the 5th level of the martial path couldn't even stand under the suppression of the power of heaven and earth. It could be seen how tyrannical the power of heaven and earth was. Long Yu didn't pay attention to Qin Ronger at all. He turned around and walked to the other side, to the Luo clan leader, Luo Chenghui, who was also vomiting blood from the suppression. Luo clan leader, I Long Yu, don't seem to have provoked you before, Long Yu said as he approached Luo Chenghui, his eyes flashing fiercely. My godfather's Feng clan didn't seem to have provoked you either. But you led the Luo clan to kill me, to destroy the Feng clan. Tell me, aren't you crazy? Are you worse than a pig or a dog? As soon as his voice fell, without waiting for Luo Chenghui to say anything, Long Yu's palm flashed with a faint golden light, and a demon subduing Vajra seal flew out. Luo Chenghui's chest was struck by the faint golden light, and his whole body was suddenly sent flying. Like a fox, his eyes flashed with unwillingness, and without any suspense, he died. Under the suppression of the power of heaven and earth, Luo Chenghui's internal organs were already damaged. At this time, Long Yu's palm directly shattered his heart, killing him in one blow. Relying on the 9 underworld dragon seal and his comprehension of the power of heaven and earth, Long Yu dealt with 2 experts of the 9th level of the martial path, a clan leader level figure, with no effort at all. When Qin Duan and Luo Chenghui were both sent flying by Long Yu, everyone present was inexplicably shocked, and no one could say a word. Isn't this Long Yu a little too terrifying? Relying on his own strength, he defeated Feng Yun, a 9th level martial path expert, killed the Tan clan's ancestor with 1 punch, and now sent Qin Duan and Luo Chenghui flying, 1 dead, and the other seriously injured. Involuntarily, the Tan clan, Qin clan, and Luo clan members began to involuntarily retreat. In the eyes of everyone present, at this moment, Long Yu was like a monster. Even the joint clan leaders of the 3 great clans were defeated. What could the rest of them do to Long Yu? The remaining 4 Tan clan 8th level martial path experts didn't need Long Yu to make a move. They had already been suppressed by the power of heaven and earth to the point of vomiting blood, and their cultivation had already been crippled by half. Maintaining the power of heaven and earth is really difficult. After sending Qin Duan and Luo Chenghui flying, Long Yu finally withdrew the power of heaven and earth. Chapter 64. The dust lingered in the air for a long time. Long Yu was the only one who stood upright. The way everyone looked at him had completely changed. Feng Chang'e was overjoyed when he saw Chun Xiaobei's strength. He was too strong. He couldn't help but think, Long Yu is indeed the descendant of the general. His talent is probably catching up to the generals in the past, right? Long Yu turned around and glanced at the 200 people surrounding Feng Chang'e. His gaze was so sharp that it caused the 200 people to retreat one after another. Even the Tan clan's patriarch, Qin Duan, and Luo Chenghui were defeated by Long Yu. What else could they do against Long Yu? Even if they could defeat Long Yu with their numbers, who would be willing to take the lead? As Long Yu walked towards Feng Chang'e step by step, the more than 200 people retreated to the back, quickly opening up a path for Long Yu. Long Yu, it's our patriarch's fault. We didn't want this to happen. A Qin clan's 8th stage martial path cultivator said, why don't we just let it go? Long Yu glanced at the man and said, "You can come and go as you please. What do you think the Feng clan is?" "Sir, are you going to kill us all?" The Qin clan's cultivator snorted. "Even if you're strong, our three clans still have the advantage in numbers. If we fight, you'll be the one to die. However, you'll be the first to die. You, and maybe some others." Long Yu's eyes flashed as he glanced at everyone. These words, coupled with Long Yu's gaze, caused the Qin clan's martial cultivator to subconsciously take 2 steps back, his expression extremely unsightly. Indeed, with Long Yu's strength, he could kill a few of them with a single punch. If they wanted to defeat Long Yu, they could only pile up their corpses. "You forget it." Feng Chang'e stepped forward and shook his head at Long Yu. "Since my foster father has spoken, then you guys can leave. I won't make things difficult for you." "Oh, right. Bring your family head along with you," Long Yu said. The people of the 3 clans heaved a sigh of relief, as if they had been granted amnesty. If they really had to fight with Long Yu, who would dare? However, while the people from the 3 major clans heaved a sigh of relief, there were still some who became nervous and their heartbeats accelerated. These people were the 100 or so people who betrayed the Feng clan and wanted to join the 3 great clans. There were also those who had just left the Feng clan, but were still hiding at the side to watch the situation. At first, they thought that the Feng clan was finished, so they abandoned the Feng clan. But now, Long Yu miraculously reversed the situation and saved the Feng clan from disaster. "Big brother Long Yu, your strength is too strong. From now on, our Feng clan will be led by you." Someone immediately changed his expression and left the camp of the 3 major clans. He walked toward Feng Chang'e and complimented him. With the current situation, the 3 major clans would not accept them. Their only option was to return to the Feng clan. However, based on the fact that they had betrayed the Feng clan first, would the Feng clan still accept them? Long Yu looked at the person who spoke and sneered, "I will not become the leader of the Feng clan. From now on, my foster father will still be the family head of the Feng clan. However, does it have anything to do with you who will be the family head of the Feng clan?" Long Yu took a step forward with a sharp gaze and a sharp tone. "You have just left the Feng clan. I said that from the moment you left the Feng clan, you have nothing to do with the Feng clan." The expressions of the traitors changed when they heard this. One of them immediately said, "We are members of the Feng clan. We left temporarily to endure and hope that the Feng clan will rise again in the future. Why won't you let us return to the Feng clan?" "Because you are disloyal, heartless, and unjust. The Feng clan that my foster father controls does not need people like you." Long Yu sneered and said, "You so-called Feng clan members left the Feng clan one by one to seek refuge when the Feng clan was facing a crisis. This is disloyalty. You watched helplessly as your fellow Feng clan members were surrounded and killed one step further. You were indifferent and watched coldly from the sidelines. This is inhumane. You even helped the 3 great clans besiege the disciples of our Feng clan. This is unjust. My Feng clan will not accept such disloyal, heartless, and unjust people." Disloyal, heartless, and unjust. These 3 words caused the faces of the traitors to turn green and purple. They themselves felt that their actions were inappropriate. But who would have thought that Long Yu was so strong that he could defeat all the experts of the 9th level of the martial Dao from the 3 great clans? Now, they had no other choice but to return to the Feng clan. Long Yu, don't go too far," someone shouted. "You said it yourself. You are not the head of the Feng clan. The head of the Feng clan is still your foster father, my uncle Feng Chang'e. Whether or not we can return to the Feng clan is up to my uncle to decide, not you." The moment he said this, he immediately felt proud of himself. Feng Chang'e, as the head of the Feng clan, had always been relatively weak and kind. He could almost foresee that Feng Chang'e would take them in on account of their former clansmen. Unfortunately, the moment he said this, Feng Chang'e indifferently glanced at him. "Even if I decide, how can you disloyal, heartless, and unjust people have the face to return to the Feng clan?" Feng Chang'e stared at the 42 people behind him and solemnly said, "From today onwards, I am the head of the Xinfeng clan, and behind me are the 42 people of the Xinfeng clan. These words caused the expressions of all the traitors of the Feng clan to sink. Feng Chang'e actually didn't care about the past. They didn't know that Feng Chang'e was usually gentle because he was facing the Feng clan's disciples. But from the moment these people left the Feng clan, they were no longer the Feng clan's disciples. There is no need to be gentle and kind to them. Having said this, Feng Chang'e looked around and sneered. Plus, let me make this clear. Although little Yu is very strong, he will not stay in the Feng clan. His world lies in a wider world. Without little Yu, the Xinfeng clan will encounter all sorts of difficulties. At that time, won't you all still have to run? With these words, many people finally calmed down. Yes, Long Yu was strong, but he was still not a member of the Feng clan. His surname was Long. With his strength, he couldn't stay in the Feng clan forever. One could imagine that once Long Yu left, the Qin clan, Tan clan, and Luo clan of Jade Pass City wouldn't let today's grudge go. At that time, the entire Xinfeng clan, including Feng Chang'e, would probably die. Feng Chang'e sneered in his heart as he looked at the traitorous Feng clan's disciples hesitating. Just one sentence was enough to make these people shrink back. If they returned to the Xinfeng clan and encountered difficulties, wouldn't they be useless? The Xinfeng clan didn't want useless people. They didn't want disloyal, heartless, and unjust people. Behind Feng Chang'e, the remaining 42 members of the Feng clan all had expressions of excitement on their faces. They never thought that Long Yu would actually be so strong. With his own strength, he had defeated the 9th-level martial Dao experts of the 3 great clans. Big Brother Long Yu is indeed a genius. At such a young age, he actually fought against 3 clan masters, killing 2 and heavily injuring 1. Amazing. I really hope that I, Feng Xiaofei, can be as strong as Big Brother Long Yu and shelter the Feng clan from the wind and rain. I, Feng Haofeng, may not be a genius like Big Brother Long Yu, but in the future, I will work even harder to repay the clan master's kindness. The 42 people were excited as they looked at Long Yu with eyes full of worship. However, at this time, a disdainful and contemptuous laughter came from afar. Ah, genius? In my opinion, this kid is only SOSO. If you say he's a genius, then it's really laughable. Following this voice, the members of the Xinfeng clan, the traitors of the Feng clan, and the members of the 3 great clans who hadn't gone far all looked towards the end of the street. They saw a young man wearing a golden silk robe with a disdainful smile on his face. With 4 followers, he walked step by step toward the Feng clan. Although his steps were slow, his speed was extremely fast. In just a few steps, he had already arrived outside the Feng mansion's courtyard wall. Who are you? How dare you look down on Big Brother Long Yu? Behind Feng Chang'e, a skinny youth angrily shouted. He was one of the few people with the highest cultivation in the Xinfeng clan, Feng Xiaofei. He had just stepped into the 6th level of the martial path. Look down on you? The young man wearing the golden silk robe laughed mockingly. A village brute like this kid doesn't even have the qualifications for me to look down on him. Long Yu glanced at the 5 people in front of him with a slight frown. He didn't know the young man in the golden silk robe, but his intuition told him that he was very strong. However, one of the followers behind him was a little familiar. That follower was handsome and quite elegant. Didn't he look 70 to 80% similar to Feng Yao's cousin, Lu Mingxian? As if seeing the different expressions on everyone's faces, the follower who looked a little like Lu Mingxian chuckled and proudly introduced. Young Master Wang Tianjue comes from the Wang clan of the Imperial City. His talent is outstanding and is not something that you country bumpkins can imagine. This is a true genius. This so-called genius Long Yu isn't even worthy of carrying our young Master Wang's shoes. Following this, the young man in the golden silk robe stood proudly at the entrance of the Feng mansion, looking down at the crowd with disdain. He was Wang Tianjue from the Wang clan of the Imperial City. With his status and cultivation, even if he just stood there, everyone should be prostrating themselves in worship. This young master has come to this countryside only for a beauty. Wang Tianjue glanced at Feng Chang'e, who was in the Feng mansion. Why isn't junior sister Feng Yao here? Feng Chang'e frowned slightly. You're too late. She's already returned to the sect. If that's the case, it's the same for me to look for you. Wang Tianjue chuckled. You're junior sister Feng Yao's father. I believe you can make the decision for her marriage. I'm here to get engaged to junior sister Feng Yao. Feng Chang'e said calmly. My daughter knows what she's doing in life. As her father, I'm afraid I can't control her. Is that so? Wang Tianjue narrowed his eyes as a vicious glint flashed across his eyes. I'm afraid you don't know who I, Wang Tianjue, am. Since that's the case, I'll let you have a look at my strength before deciding whether I, Wang Tianjue, am qualified to marry junior sister Feng Yao. As soon as he finished speaking, Wang Tianjue's eyes immediately locked onto Long Yu. This instantly increased the pressure on Long Yu. He felt as if he was being stared at by a ferocious tiger. This Wang Tianjue is very powerful. The pressure I feel when facing him is much greater than facing Feng Yun. Could it be that he's an expert from the true spirit realm? Chapter 65. The pressure Long Yu felt when facing Wang Tianjue was even greater than facing the 3 ninth stage martial path patriarchs. This kind of pressure was a little similar to when Long Yu was facing the number 1 core disciple and how to walk. True spirit realm. Feng Chang'e's expression turned ugly as he uttered those words. It was a disaster for a true spirit realm expert to appear in Jade Pass City. Even if everyone in Jade Pass City joined forces, they wouldn't be a match for a true spirit realm expert. Wang Tianjue was a genius of the royal city's Wang family. As long as his talent wasn't too bad, it would be easy for him to reach the 9th stage of the martial path. However, to condense a true spirit, one's talent had to be pretty good. Otherwise, it would be impossible to break through the bottleneck. Wang Tianjue looked to be only 24 or 25 years old. To be able to step into the true spirit realm meant that his talent was pretty good. Deputy General Feng, you're quite knowledgeable. The corner of Wang Tianjue's mouth curled up as he looked arrogantly at Long Yu and said disdainfully, a country bumpkin like you probably hasn't even seen a true spirit before. Today I, Wang Tianjue, will be merciful and show you what a true spirit is. With that, Wang Tianjue raised his hand and a ferocious aura gathered around his body. At that moment, Long Yu felt even more like he was facing a ferocious tiger. Wang Tianjue condensed his profound qi and instantly formed the illusory image of a ferocious tiger behind him. At the same time, a tiger's roar resounded through the forest, deafening everyone present. Many people subconsciously covered their ears. The ferocious tiger roar made Long Yu grit his teeth and take a few steps back. This power was too strong. Wang Tianjue condensed a Tiger King true spirit, and the moment it appeared, it immediately forced Long Yu to retreat. The Wang family has been cultivating the Tiger King art for generations. If a Wang family descendant condenses a true spirit, it will most likely be a Tiger King true spirit. Feng Chang'e also took a few steps back with a grave expression on his face. He seemed to have some understanding of the factions in the imperial city, and Wang Tianjue had also addressed him as Deputy General Feng. It was clear that Feng Chang'e's past experiences were different from those of ordinary people. Long Yu, on the other hand, was carefully observing Wang Tianjue's back. The image of a ferocious tiger was much larger than a real tiger. On its forehead, there was a large Wang character, which matched the Wang clan surname. The image of the ferocious tiger was 3 zhang long and more than 1 zhang tall. It floated behind Wang Tianjue and was as tall as a house. As soon as it appeared, it shocked all the cultivators present. This was the true spirit. An expert in the true spirit secret realm could condense a true spirit. This was a true expert in the world. Once a true spirit appeared, a mere 9th rank martial path cultivator would not be able to fight against it. However, if you want to fight, then I, Long Yu, will naturally accompany you. Long Yu was not afraid at all. Facing an expert from the true spirit secret realm, not only did he not retreat, his heart was filled with the desire to fight. In front of him was someone from the true spirit secret realm, a true expert. Previously, he had only seen Elder Yu release the true spirit of the heavenly suppression palm from afar. Now that he was facing the true spirit of the Tiger King, he had a better understanding of the power of the true spirit secret realm. Law of suppression, force of heaven and earth. Instead of retreating, Long Yu clenched his teeth and released the force of suppression. After a short period of rest, his dantian pulsated, allowing his Xian Qi to recover by 30%. At this moment, he chose to release the force of suppression to fight against Wang Tianjua's Tiger King True Spirit. Under the True Spirit, all living beings are but ants. Wang Tianjua was slightly surprised when he sensed the force of heaven and earth that Long Yu had released. However, he smiled disdainfully, and the image of the Tiger King behind him roared and instantly broke through Long Yu's force of heaven and earth. I can defeat you with a casual punch. It'll be as easy as crushing an ant. Wang Tianjua laughed in disdain. He waved his fists and charged towards Long Yuxiang. As he threw out his fist, the Tiger King phantom behind him suddenly roared, as if it had bestowed him with even greater power. Demon subduing Vajra shield. Long Yu clenched his teeth and circulated the Xian Qi in his body. A faint golden light appeared on the surface of his body. What's the use of defending? Wang Tianjua's arrogant figure appeared in front of Long Yu in an instant. Accompanied by the roar of the Tiger King, he punched at Long Yu. Bang! With a loud bang, Long Yu was hit on the shoulder by the punch. His whole body flew backwards and landed heavily on the ground. It's not that the force of heaven and earth can't resist the true spirit's pressure. It's just that the difference in strength is too great. Long Yu crawled up with difficulty and gritted his teeth. He could clearly feel that his force of heaven and earth made Wang Tianjua's Tiger King's force of heaven and earth decrease a lot. However, because the difference in their basic strength was too great, his force of heaven and earth was instantly broken by the opponent. Trash like him. You guys still have a nerve to call him a genius? Haha, this is too funny. Wang Tianjua strolled in front of Long Yu and stood there proudly. He glanced at him from the corner of his eyes filled with disdain. Now, you should know who the genius is and who the trash is, right? With just a single punch, Long Yu was sent flying and injured. This scene caused everyone present to be dumbfounded. Hearing Wang Tianjua's mocking words, everyone from the Xinfeng clan glared at him and clenched their fists. However, they knew that if even Long Yu was not Wang Tianjua's opponent, then they would not be in Wang Tianjua's eyes. Those who betrayed the Feng clan were all rejoicing in their misfortune. This Long Yu is actually a piece of trash, but he can only strut around in front of us. Yes, he met the genius young Master Wang from the Imperial City and was sent flying with one punch. It seems like the Imperial City is the real world of martial cultivators. This Jade Gate City is too small. I've decided, so what if the Feng clan doesn't want me? I will go to the Imperial City and make a name for myself in the future, then come back and look down on the Feng clan. Everyone mocked Long Yu, but it did not affect Long Yu at all. Seeing Wang Tianjua walk in front of him, Long Yu struggled to get up. Without lifting his head, he immediately gathered the netherworld energy and threw a punch towards Wang Tianjua. 9 Underworld Dragon Fist, drunk lying in the Yellow Springs. This punch simulated the Yellow Springs Road, shocking the mind. The netherworld energy instantly transformed into the Yellow Springs Road, directly enveloping Wang Tianjua within it. This caused the proud Wang Tianjua's expression to stiffen. At this moment, Long Yu walked along the Yellow Springs Road. He was the master of the Yellow Springs Road. So what if the true spirit of the Tiger King floated behind Wang Tianjua? Under the Yellow Springs Road, Wang Tianjua was instantly invaded by the netherworld energy, causing him to lose his mind. 9 Underworld Dragon Fist shocked the Yellow Springs. Long Yu threw a punch. The 9 Underworld Dragon Seal was instantly activated, and the Wandering Soul's glove flashed with a black light. This punch contained all of Long Yu's strength. It was the strength of 300 horses, and it was thrown out with great vigor. Roar! The phantom of the Tiger King's true spirit roared, and a ferocious pressure immediately enveloped Long Yu. "You're just a beast formed from Xianxi. How dare you stop me?" Long Yu shouted and released his heaven-suppressing aura. Taking advantage of Wang Tianjua's dazed state, he instantly broke through the pressure of the Tiger King's true spirit. His black figure seemed to be moving against the waves as he closed in on Wang Tianjua. The fist that was condensed with the netherworld energy was about to land on Wang Tianjua's chest. However, at this moment, Wang Tianjua finally woke up from his dazed state. The moment he opened his eyes, he saw Long Yu actually withstood the pressure of the Tiger King's true spirit and swung his fist at him. He was immediately alarmed. What kind of martial skill was that just now? It actually made Wang Tianjua lose his mind. Moreover, this Long Yu was clearly only at the 8th level of the martial Dao, yet he was able to release the heaven-suppressing aura to break through the pressure of the Tiger King's true spirit. It was truly terrifying. "This brat, he makes me angry." Killing intent flashed in Wang Tianjua's eyes. The Tiger King's true spirit behind him immediately let out an angry roar, causing him to throw an even more terrifying punch than before. The strength of 1,000 horses condensed in his fist, and in an instant, it collided with Long Yu's fist. Kacha! The bones in Long Yu's fist shattered, and his entire body was once again sent flying, heavily crashing to the ground. However, the netherworld energy condensed from his fist also seeped into Wang Tianjua's body, causing his face to turn green and purple, as if he was poisoned. What kind of strange energy is this? Wang Tianjua was shocked, and he immediately circulated his Xianqi, trying to suppress the netherworld energy. As an expert in the true spirit realm, the strength of his Xianqi was naturally extraordinary, so he easily blocked the netherworld energy in his meridians. However, as strong as Wang Tianjua was, he was unable to refine the netherworld energy in a short period of time. Once he let his guard down, the netherworld energy would immediately wreak havoc in his body and corrode his meridians. Damn it! This way, Wang Tianjua could temporarily use less than 30% of his strength, which he had to use to suppress the netherworld energy. This made him very angry. He never thought that he would accidentally fall into a trap against a cultivator in the 8th level of the martial Dao. If it wasn't for his high cultivation, he would have been killed by Long Yu with a single punch. But now you don't have any chance. Wang Tianjua's eyes were filled with killing intent as he looked at Long Yu. Meanwhile, Feng Chang's expression changed slightly. He took a step forward and stood in front of Long Yu. "Master Wang, you've proven your strength. Long Yu is no match for you," Feng Chang'e said coldly. "If you want to kill him, you'll have to step over my dead body. However, I only have one thing to say to my daughter, Feng Yao. If you want to marry her, then go find her. As her father, I can't control her decision." Deputy General Feng, are you saying this because you think I won't dare to attack you because of your daughter? Wang Tianjua harumphed coldly as he stared at Feng Chang'e. "Then you can try." Feng Chang'e was fearless. His eyes were cold as he faced Wang Tianjua. "If you don't move aside, then I'll really give it a try." Wang Tianjua glanced at Feng Chang'e and harumphed coldly. "Stop." A clear and urgent voice suddenly sounded out from the side, and it caused everyone present to be stunned when they heard it. "Feng Yao." Chapter 66. Wang Tianjua was startled when he saw Feng Yao, before he smiled. "Junior sister Feng Yao, didn't you return to the sect?" he asked coolly. Feng Yao did not answer him. Instead, she gritted her teeth and said, "I don't care what you do to Long Yu, but I won't allow you to hurt my father." Wang Tianjua laughed. "It's not up to anyone to tell me who I want to deal with. However, junior sister Feng Yao, if you agree to marry me, you won't be considered an outsider, but one of us." "That's right." The handsome young man who resembled Lun Mingxian smiled and said, "Cousin, young Master Wang is the young genius of the imperial city's Wang family. His status and identity are more than enough for you. Feng Yao gently bit her lip when she heard this. She looked at Wang Tianjua and then at Feng Chang'e. We can get engaged, but I won't be leaving with you for the time being. After pondering for a long time, Feng Yao finally said coldly, I'm only 16 this year. When I turn 18, I'll definitely pay a visit to the Wang family. I believe that as a genius of the Wang family, young Master Wang shouldn't be afraid that I'll go back on my word. 2 years. Wang Tianjua's eyes flickered with amusement as he said playfully, Of course I'm not afraid that you'll go back on your word. Everyone here heard what you said. However, I advise you to give up on the idea of finding a backer that's comparable to the Wang family in 2 years. Feng Yao's words were spot on, but Wang Tianjua did not object. He was from the imperial city's Wang family, so he was confident in his family background. 2 years was not a short time, but it was not a long time either. What kind of backer could Feng Yao find in such a short time? It was even more impossible for Feng Yao to grow strong enough to go against the Wang family in 2 years. The imperial city's Wang family was one of the 4 major families of the Great Tang Kingdom. They had a strong foundation and overall strength that was comparable to a sect like the Jintian clan. It's none of your business. All you need to know is I'll keep my word. Feng Yao said coldly. All right, I promise you that I won't do anything to Deputy General Feng. Wang Tianjua confidently nodded, and then a murderous intent flashed in his eyes. However, you have to get your father out of my way. Today I must kill this Longyu. Father, please step aside. Feng Yao turned to look at Feng Chang'e with hope in her eyes. Mother and I were worried about you, so we came back to take a look. Otherwise, I'm afraid. Don't say anything else. Feng Chang'e's expression was resolute as he shook his head and said, I won't stand by and watch you get killed. His eyes were filled with heartache. He knew that Feng Yao had never liked Wang Tianjua, yet she had agreed to marry him in order to save him. This was a shameful engagement, a disgrace to the Feng clan, a disgrace to Feng Chang'e. However, he was utterly powerless to stop all of this. If he hadn't been injured all those years ago, how could he possibly be unable to even stop Wang Tianjua now? Unfortunately, there was nothing he could do now. The only thing he could do was to stop Wang Tianjua for Longyu and save Longyu's life. In the past, it was the general who had saved his life. Now, even if he had to die, he had to protect the general's only bloodline. You want to stop me, but do you think you can? Wang Tianjua chuckled coldly when he saw the determination in Feng Chang'e's eyes. He took a step forward, and the Tiger King true spirit behind him roared once again. A ferocious aura swept toward Feng Chang'e, causing him to be unable to move at all. Move aside, Wang Tianjua snapped and raised his right hand. A tiger's roar was heard, followed by a ferocious suppression that pushed Feng Chang'e over 10 zhang away. Father! Feng Yao immediately ran over and helped Feng Chang'e up. You! Feng Chang'e's expression changed. He tried to run toward Yu Tianjua, but Feng Yao blocked his way. Wang Tianjua walked toward the injured Longyu, one step at a time. The bones in Longyu's right hand were completely shattered, and the meridians in his body were damaged. He could not even stand up under the suppression of the Tiger King true spirit. You're only in the 8th layer martial path, but you managed to injure me. Not bad at all. Wang Tianjua arrived before Longyu with a cold glint in his eyes. Unfortunately, you're going to die in my hands today. Feng Chang'e's eyes almost popped out of their sockets when he heard this. How could Longyu die just like that? He was the general's only son, and he displayed such a terrifying talent. How could he be killed by someone like Wang Tianjua? Everyone's attention was focused on Wang Tianjua. They were eager to see how he was going to kill Longyu. However, a sharp eagle's cry suddenly came from the sky, causing Wang Tianjua's expression to change. Who's there? Wang Tianjua felt as if he was being targeted by someone from afar. The moment he made a move, he would be attacked like a storm. This was the intuition of a true spirit realm expert. Wang Tianjua felt as if he would die the moment he moved. Ha ha! The laughter of an arrogant man could be heard from afar. Following that, a young man in black clothes appeared on the roof of the Feng family's hall. This young man in black clothes was handsome and had an arrogant smile on his face. He looked down at the crowd with an arrogant aura. Long Yu's heart skipped a beat when he saw him. Walking? This young man in black clothes was the #1 core disciple of the Jintian clan, Walking. The sharp eagle's cry came from a heavenly eagle true spirit realm expert that appeared behind him, soaring proudly in the sky with a domineering aura. Walking. He was also a true spirit realm expert. The appearance of the heavenly eagle, true spirit, instantly locked onto Wang Tianjua, preventing him from moving. Walking. Wang Tianjua raised his head. Seeing Walking's figure, his expression changed. As a member of the Wang family, how could he not know Walking's identity? He was one of the great Tang country's 9 great geniuses. Walking was much stronger than Wang Tianjua. Unexpectedly, the moment he said Walking, the black-clothed young man standing on the roof of the Feng family's hall, Walking's expression darkened. What did you say? Walking's arrogant eyes locked onto Wang Tianjua. He was like a soaring eagle that had finally found its prey. This feeling made Wang Tianjua's heart beat faster. Damn, I forgot I can't call him by his name in front of him. Wang Tianjua's forehead was instantly covered in cold sweat. When he had just arrived at Jade Pass City, Wang Tianjua had swaggered around as if he was the ruler of Jade Pass City, controlling everything. But facing Walking, his heart was filled with apprehension. He was afraid that the other party would kill him in a fit of rage. This was the effect of strength. Who do you think you are to dare shout at young Master Wang like this? At this moment, an arrogant and despotic voice rang out. It was one of Wang Tianjua's 4 followers. He had a sharp mouth and monkey cheeks. As he looked up at Walking, his face was filled with disdain and disdain. As Wang Tianjua's follower, he had the strength of the 8th stage of the martial path. In Jade Pass City, he could be considered an expert. This made him lose his composure. Clearly, this guy hadn't recognized Walking's identity, and this had also put an end to his life. Who do I think I am? Why don't you ask your master, who do I think I am? A cold sneer appeared on Bu Feng's arrogant face. Immediately after, a sharp eagle cry sounded, and the heavenly eagle true spirit behind him suddenly swooped down, sending a fierce gust of wind towards the follower who had just spoken. In just an instant, with a sharp eagle cry and a gust of wind, the follower's heart meridians were shattered by the terrifying force. His eyes were wide open as he slowly fell to the ground. With Walking strength, killing an ordinary 8th stage martial path cultivator was simply beneath him. The true spirit of the heavenly eagle would be able to shatter the other party's heart meridians. Then, the true spirit of the soaring heavenly eagle turned and swooped down towards Wang Tianjua. Wang Tianjua, you bully a disciple of my Jintian clan. Do you think there's no one left in my Jintian clan? Walking's arrogant voice descended from the sky. Then, accompanied by the true spirit of the heavenly eagle, it attacked Wang Tianjua like a gust of wind. Senior Brother Bu, I didn't know that this guy was a disciple of the Jintian clan, Wang Tianjua hurriedly explained. The true spirit of the Tiger King behind him roared angrily and rushed forward, trying to block Walking's attack. However, the true spirit of the heavenly eagle was clearly much stronger than the true spirit of the Tiger King. In just a single exchange, with a sharp eagle cry, the true spirit of the Tiger King was blown away by the gust of wind. The true spirit of the Tiger King that Wang Tianjua was so proud of had been destroyed in an instant. The heavenly eagle fighting tiger had actually destroyed it in the blink of an eye. Then, the true spirit of the heavenly eagle flapped its 8 to 9 zhang long, illusory wings, and a gust of wind swept Wang Tianjua into it. You want to kill a disciple of my Jintian clan? I'd like to see who's going to kill who today. Walking laughed wildly and arrogantly. With a wave of his hand, he swept Wang Tianjua from the bottom of the gust of wind into the sky, and the true spirit of the heavenly eagle caught him in its beak. I'm from the Wang family of the Imperial City. Do you really dare to kill me? In the face of a life-threatening threat, Wang Tianjua habitually tried to use his family to save his life in a moment of desperation. I comprehended the heaven-suppressing great power from watching the heavenly eagle. What do I have to fear from your family of giant insects in the forest? Walking laughed heartily. Fine, since you've used your true spirit to bully Junior Brother Long you today, I'll let you live. Junior Brother Long, you will personally take your life in the future. As soon as he finished speaking, the gust of wind dissipated, and Wang Tianjua fell from the sky. With a bang, he smashed into the ground. However, at this time, Wang Tianjua was already seriously injured, and since he did not suppress the netherworld qi, the meridians in his body had already begun to be corroded by it. Cough, cough. Wang Tianjua coughed out a mouthful of blood and struggled to get up. He glared at Walking with hatred in his eyes. I'll remember today's humiliation. One day, I'll definitely avenge this humiliation. Scram. It's not too late to say such words when you're strong enough. Walking laughed arrogantly, as if he did not care about Wang Tianjua at all. The battle between the heavenly eagle and the Tiger King had been decided in just a moment. The surrounding people were all dumbfounded and did not know what to say. Chapter 67. Jade Pass City, Feng Residence. Countless people gathered to watch. From the start until the end of the show, everyone's heart raced several times. At the start, Feng Yun became the family head, but was provoked by Long Yu. He defeated Ling Lai and crippled Feng Yun. Following that, the Tan, Qin, and Luo families rebelled and wanted to destroy the Feng family. However, they were stopped by Long Yu. Out of the 3 family heads, 2 were killed and 1 was injured. Long Yu's strength was deeply engraved in everyone's hearts. However, Wang Tianjua from the Wang family used the Tiger King true spirit to defeat Long Yu. However, he was easily defeated by the number 1 core disciple of the Jintian clan. Twists and turns, waves of exclamations. Let's go. Wang Tianjua struggled to stand up. Very quickly, the handsome youth that looked like Lu Mingxian ran over to support him. Of the 4 followers he brought, 1 was dead. There were only 3 left, and they hurriedly brought him out of the Feng residence. When he passed by Feng Yao, Wang Tianjua suddenly paused and snorted. Don't forget our agreement. 2 years later, remember to come to the Wang family to fulfill the marriage. Feng Yao's eyes flickered. She knew that although Wang Tianjua lost to Feng Yun, it did not mean that he had lost. When he returned, Wang Tianjua would definitely not be satisfied. If the experts of the Wang family were to move, it would be difficult for Feng Yun to stop them. 2 years later, I, Feng Yao, will pay you a visit. Feng Yao said coldly. Wang Tianjua looked at her cold expression and could not help but wonder what kind of seductive scene she would be when she was on his knees. He snorted lightly and left with his 3 followers in a haughty manner. Lu Mingsheng. Suddenly, Feng Yao called out to the lackey who looked like Lu Mingxian and asked indifferently, "What did the Lu clan become the Wang clan's vassal, and you became Wang Tianjua's lackey?" The youth that looked like Lu Mingxian was called Lu Mingsheng. When he heard this, he could not help but laugh. You are not a member of the Lu family. Do I need you to care about me? Moreover, in the entire Tang Empire, the Wang family was one of the top families. Young Master Wang's talent is outstanding. What's wrong with me being friends with young Master Wang? Look at you. How can you talk to my cousin like that? The beautiful woman who had been hiding at the side rushed out. It was Feng Yao's mother, Lu Yu. Lu Yu glared at Feng Yao, then smiled at Lu Mingsheng and Wang Tianjua. Mingsheng, young Master Wang, my daughter doesn't know any better. If she could really marry young Master Wang, it would be a blessing that she had cultivated for 8 lifetimes. Perhaps in less than 2 years, she would understand this truth. At that time, I will definitely bring her to visit the Wang clan. Looks like there are still sensible people in Jade Pass City. Wang Tianjua said arrogantly. Although he had just lost to Bu, it was not enough to make him realize anything. Just from the background of the Imperial City's Wang clan, his arrogance had become a habit. Yao follow me back to the Lu clan. Lu Yu said to Feng Yao. I'm not going. Feng Yao shook her head coldly and turned to leave. The direction she was heading in was the direction of the ice sect. Right now, Feng Yao only had this one place to go. She did not have the face to stay in the Feng clan. Moreover, staying in the Feng clan would not give her any chance to improve. As for the Liu clan, she still could not forget the humiliation she had suffered when she was young. If she did not become strong enough, Feng Yao would not return to the Liu clan. This last, Liu Yu cursed inwardly. Then, she smiled at Wang Tianjua and said, "Young Master Wang, please don't be angry. I remember this girl said that the Ice sect wanted to talk to her about something. She had to go back to her sect first. It doesn't matter. Anyway, everyone knows about the promise in 2 years." Wang Tianjua said indifferently. Looking at Feng Yao's beautiful back, a hint of greed flashed in his eyes. Wang Tianjua was extremely fond of beautiful women. Not to mention that Feng Yao's talent was quite good. She was qualified to be his wife. He turned around and glared at Bu and Long Yu. Then, he turned around and left with his 3 followers and Liu Yu. Some people won't shed a tear until they see the coffin. Bu looked at Wang Tianjua and shrugged. "Junior brother Long Yu, the next time you meet him, I'm afraid even he won't be a match for you." Bu turned his head and looked at Long Yu with a smile. "Your speed of improvement really puts me, as your senior brother, to shame." Long Yu stood up and slowly shook his head. "My strength is still too weak. Any random person from the True Spirit Secret Realm would be able to defeat me." "Haha, you're only in the 8th stage of the martial path. I've never heard of anyone in the 8th stage of the martial path defeating someone from the True Spirit Realm." Who shook his head with a smile. "You're asking too much of yourself. Even if you're only in the 1st stage of the True Spirit Realm, your basic strength is 3 to 4 times that of a 9th stage martial path expert. That's the strength of 1,000 horses. The current Long Yu's maximum strength is equivalent to the strength of 300 fierce horses. However, the gap between him and a True Spirit Realm expert was too big. Even if he comprehended the power of the heavens and earth, it was impossible for him to fight against them. Realm was the foundation. Only with a realm would one have enough basic strength. Otherwise, no matter what martial skill he cultivated or what intent he comprehended, it would all be useless. Senior brother is right. Long Yu nodded. He knew that he had been too hasty. However, if he could step into the 9th stage of the martial path and double his basic strength, it would be possible for him to deal with a 1st stage True Spirit Realm expert like Wang Tianjua. After all, even a True Spirit Realm expert might not be able to comprehend the power of the heavens and earth. Furthermore, you being able to comprehend the power of the heavens and earth is beyond my expectations. Bu Fong smiled as he patted Long Yu's shoulder. "I was watching the Sky Eagle. When I condensed my true spirit, I opened up my heavenly meridian, which allowed me to comprehend the power of the heavens and earth. I'm guessing that once you step into the True Spirit Realm, you'll be able to comprehend domain. That's the highest realm of the heaven-suppressing art. Let's not think about the True Spirit Realm for now. Right now, I'm still far from a 9th stage of the martial path." Long Yu said as he shook his head. "That's right. One step at a time. The path of martial Tao requires one to move forward steadily. Otherwise, an unstable foundation is a taboo." Bu Fong praised. At that moment, Feng Chang'e finally came to their side. He said to Bu Fong gratefully, "Thank you, senior brother. Haha, there's no need to be so polite. My master is an old friend of Vice General Feng's." Bu Fong laughed. Feng Chang'e was taken aback by Feng Chang'e's words. "Who is your master?" "White Cloud Trail." Bu Fong uttered these 3 words. Those 3 words caused Feng Chang'e to be pleasantly surprised. As for Long Yu, he was astonished. The sect leader of the Jintian clan, White Cloud Trail, was Bu Fong's master. No wonder Elder Tan Wuchuan didn't dare to do anything to Bu Fong back in the Soaring Snake Abyss. Other than strength, there was also the factor of identity. How could Tan Wuchuan dare to do anything to Bu Fong? "So it's General Bai." Feng Chang'e sighed. "My master used to be a general, but now he's just the sect leader of the Jintian clan." Bu Fong shook his head with a smile. "All right, Senior Feng. I'll be bringing Junior Brother Long Yu back to the sect. Master has arranged something for him to see. Do as you wish." Feng Chang'e smiled. He then turned to Long Yu and said, "Little Yu, you've improved rapidly, but don't be complacent on the path of martial Dao. Do you understand?" "Understood." Long Yu nodded. "As for the Xinfeng clan, you don't have to worry about it." Feng Chang'e looked around and said, "The three clans don't have a ninth-layer martial path sect leader, so they won't cause trouble for me for the time being. Furthermore, Yao Er's engagement with Wang Tianjue will serve as a deterrent." It's a pity for Yao when Long Yu saw the unwillingness and humiliation in Feng Chang'e's eyes. He knew that Feng Chang'e didn't want Feng Yao to marry into the Wang clan. However, Feng Chang'e didn't have the ability to stop it. If it were to become a reality, it would be a pain and hatred for the rest of his life. Long Yu kept the matter in mind. He had to pay a visit to the royal city's Wang clan, but not now. If he wanted to break into the royal city's Wang clan, he would need to be stronger than Bu Feng. This wasn't something that could be achieved overnight. Luckily, Feng Yao and Wang Tianjue's engagement was 2 years. 2 years could change a lot of things. Saving Feng Yao wasn't for her, but for Feng Chang'e. "Brother Long Yu, you can do it." When Long Yu and Bu Feng turned to leave, the blessings of the 42 members of the Xinfeng clan could be heard from behind. The current Feng clan was much more spacious than before. The entire Feng clan, including Feng Chang'e, only had 43 members. However, the Xinfeng clan's cohesiveness was unprecedentedly strong. "You guys can do it too." Long Yu didn't turn back. His footsteps paused for a moment, then he continued walking. The majority of the traders of the Feng clan also left. Their destination was the royal city. Today, they had witnessed Wang Tianjue's strength. They all felt that only the royal city had the opportunity to nurture a true expert. As for the other 3 clans of Jade Pass City, they also dispersed. They had suffered heavy losses today. Even if they recuperated for a long time, they might not be able to make up for today's losses. Originally, they wanted to swallow up the Feng clan and reap the benefits, but now they went for wool and came home shorn. All of this was because of the appearance of a monster like Long Yu. At this point, the bustling Jade Pass City finally came to a stop. Long Yu followed Bu Feng. Soon, they left Jade Pass City and headed towards the Jintian clan in the south. "Junior brother, do you really want to know about your past?" Walking arrogantly ran as he asked aloud. "Senior brother, do you know?" When Long Yu heard this, his heart shook. He had long wanted to know about his past, but he had no way of finding out. Feng Chang'e was also unwilling to talk about it. "My master knows. This time, he called you back to tell you some things. With your current strength, it's time for you to know these things." When Bu Feng's words reached Long Yu's ears, he became somewhat impatient. Chapter 68. 2 days later, Long Yu followed Zhong Yun back to the Jintian clan and arrived at the bamboo forest where the Elder's Chamber was located. Along the way, Zhong Yun told Long Yu a few things. In the past, Zhong Yun and Long Yu's father, Long Zai-Tian, were both generals of the Great Tang Empire, and Feng Chang'e was Long Zai-Tian's deputy. To be able to become a general and lead an army against enemies, Long Zai-Tian, Zhong Yun, and Feng Chang'e's cultivation were at least above the true spirit realm. However, Feng Chang'e's meridians were damaged from the battle, so he could only exert strength equivalent to the 8th stage of the martial path. He couldn't even release his true spirit. So my father's name is Long Zai-Tian, a general of the Great Tang Empire. However, Zhong Yun doesn't know much about this. I'll have to ask sect leader Bai for more details. Long Yu thought to himself as he raised his head and looked at the Elder's Chamber in the bamboo forest. "The sect leader is inside. You can go in first," Zhong Yun said as he reminded Long Yu with a smile. "Oh right, junior brother. Remember to look for me at the martial skill chamber later. Your good brother, Ling Han, sent you a messenger pigeon 2 days ago. He might have something to talk to you about." Long Yu's heart stirred as he nodded his head. Ling Han did mention that he was going back to the Ling clan's villa. Could something have happened to him? Long Yu put this matter aside for the time being and strode into the Elder Pavilion. At this moment, the Elder's Pavilion was empty, unlike the previous time when many elders were gathered together. Long Yu looked in and saw a middle-aged man in his 30s. He had short hair and a small mustache. He was the sect leader of the heaven-suppressing sect, by Yunzong. At this moment, White Cloud Zone was casually sitting down, drinking tea while raising his head and glancing at Long Yu. "Catch!" Tracks of White Cloud said. With a wave of his hand, he threw a spear towards Long Yu. "This is?" Long Yu was taken aback. He subconsciously stretched out his hand, wanting to catch the spear. However, as soon as his hand touched the spear, he felt as if a dragon's roar came from the spear and penetrated deeply into his spirit and soul. So heavy, Long Yu's body trembled, and he stretched out his other hand to support the spear. Only then was he able to stabilize his body. This long spear was much heavier than he had imagined. It was probably several tens of thousands of kilograms, which made him lose his balance for a moment, and he was almost smashed to the ground. This spear was used by your father when he was alive. It's called the Heaven Dragon Spear. White Cloud Trace's tone was melancholic, as if he was reminiscing about something. Heaven Dragon Spear. Long Yu frowned. His father used it when he was alive? Could it be that his father was already dead? My father, Long Yu could not help but ask. Although it's not easy for you to pick up the Heaven Dragon Spear now, there are some things that I can tell you. Zhong Yun glanced at him, then took a sip of tea and said, I originally thought that the Heaven Dragon Spear would remain here for the rest of its life. I didn't expect a kid like you to have such talent. Following White Cloud's narration, the scenes of the past turned page after page in front of Long Yu's eyes. Long Yu's father, Long Zaiqian, was born in the Long family of the generals of the Great Tang Empire. The Long family of the generals, the Chu family, and the Mo family were known as the three great clans of the Great Tang Empire. They were the most influential and powerful existences in the entire Great Tang Empire. The generals, ministers, and emperors, the three great clans supported the entire Great Tang Empire. As for the Wang family of the Imperial City, it was one of the four great clans of the Imperial City. The great clans and great clans could not be compared at all. Simply put, the four great clans, including the Wang family, were not as powerful as the Long family of generals. The Long family had countless talented martial cultivators, and generations of them were the generals of the Great Tang Empire. Long Zaiqian had risen with the momentum of the soaring dragon. At the age of 18, he had already formed his true spirit and stepped into the true spirit's secret realm. This extraordinary talent allowed him to become one of the generals of the Great Tang Empire at a young age. It was also after this that Zhong Yun and Long Zaiqian got to know each other. From the beginning, Feng Chang'e was Long Zaiqian's deputy general, and Long Zaiqian never put on airs and called Feng Chang'e brother. After 10 years of fighting and traveling, Long Zaiqian and Zhong Yun had fought against the joint invasion of the ancient Ming Kingdom and the Eastern Sun Kingdom many times. For example, before Long Yu had left Jade Pass City, he had already heard of Zhong Yun's ferocious name. However, news about Long Zaiqian seemed to have been purposely suppressed, and no one dared to say a word. This was what puzzled Long Yu the most. And now, from Zhong Yun's mouth, Long Yu finally learned the truth. It turned out that 10 years after Long Zaiqian became a general, he met a woman named Bei Yuyao. Not to mention that Bei Yuyao was as beautiful as a fairy. The most important thing was that she came from a force even stronger than the Great Tang Empire. Long Zaiqian and Bei Yuyao fell in love, but they were obstructed by many experts from the force that Bei Yuyao belonged to. However, after many assassinations and many battles, Long Zaiqian's terrifying strength shocked everyone. Even the experts that Bei Yuyao's force sent out could not deal with Long Zaiqian. Helpless, the force put pressure on the Great Tang Empire. In addition, there were many people in the Great Tang Empire who were originally jealous of Long Zaiqian. After a series of actions, Long Zaiqian was expelled from the Great Tang Empire. Not only was he stripped of his position as general, he was also expelled from the Long family and the Great Tang Empire. And the reason for his expulsion was treason. This was clearly a false accusation, but it really became the crime that Long Zaiqian was expelled from the Great Tang Empire. As a result, It can be imagined that Long Zetian had no place to go. The great Tang Empire could not tolerate him. Moreover, he had once led an army to kill his enemies, and it was the soldiers of the neighboring Gunming Kingdom and Dongri Kingdom. Those two countries could not tolerate him. Moreover, with Long Zetian's arrogance, it was impossible for him to defect to an enemy country. He and Bei Yuyao wandered outside for a year, but in the end, they were unable to escape this calamity. In the end, after Bei Yuyao gave birth to Long Yu, she was captured by the force she belonged to, and there was no more news of her. Long Zetian did not compromise. It was said that he broke into that great force, but no one knew what happened. Even Zhongyan didn't know Long Zetian's current whereabouts. Only a few pieces of news came, but Zhongyan knew that Long Zetian had been completely suppressed a long time ago, and most likely even lost his life. As for Feng Chang'e, in order to protect Long Zetian, he was seriously injured and his meridians were severely damaged. In this life, it was impossible for him to step into a higher realm of the martial path. Instead, he could only use the strength of the 8th stage of the martial path, and even his true spirit was completely sealed. After Long Zetian disappeared, Feng Chang'e brought Long Yu back to the Feng family in Jade Pass City to raise him. At the same time, he married a woman from the Liu family, Liu Yu, and gave birth to a daughter, Feng Yao. They settled down in Jade Pass City. In these years, many people wanted to eliminate Long Yu, but in the end, they let him live. Whether it is the great Tang imperial family, the Long family, or the force your mother belongs to, there are people who want to kill you. Zhongyun said lightly. However, there are also many people who want to protect you. Because of this, you can live until now. I can understand that there are people who want to kill me. But who wants to protect me? Long Yu frowned. My mother has been captured, and my father's whereabouts are unknown. Apart from them, who else? This, you can only wait until you become stronger and find the truth yourself. Zhongyun's mustache twitched as he smiled. In the end, I, Zhongyun, am just an outsider. It is just that I was implicated by your father, so I was also stripped of my position as a general. I can only come to the Jintian clan to be a sect master. You hate my father? Long Yu asked. What do you think? Zhongyun snorted. That stinking brat. He ran off to roam the world without telling me. How hateful. Even now, no one knows his whereabouts, and I can only stay in the Jintian clan until I die of boredom. How boring, how boring. Long Yu could hear that Zhongyun and Long Zetian's relationship was very good. He simply did not resent being implicated by Long Zetian. Zhongyun did not care about the position of a general. In his heart, Zhongyun was most displeased with the fact that Long Zetian had left alone without saying a word. However, there was nothing Long Yu could do about it. He could only guess in his heart. The great Tang imperial clan, the Long clan of the generals, and the faction that his mother Bei Yuyao belonged to. Who would protect him? He had no understanding of these three aspects at the moment, so it was impossible for him to guess. However, he was sure that apart from Feng Chang'e, there must be someone else in this world who was worried about him. No matter what, I Long Yu will ascend to the peak of the martial path and get to the bottom of everything. Long Zetian, my father, I will find you one day and find out who had framed you for treason. Long Yu made up his mind. In this world where martial arts were respected, as long as one was strong enough, everything would no longer be a problem. I'll leave this Qianlong spear to you now. Zhongyun felt a lot more relaxed after telling Qin than everything he knew. This is no ordinary combat weapon. If it was in perfect condition, it would be stronger than a supreme rank combat weapon. It's a pity that the Qianlong spear is damaged. Following his words, Long Yu could feel the Qianlong spear in his hand humming, as if it was feeling sorry for its current state. Sect leader, are there more grades above supreme-ranked combat weapons and supreme-ranked martial skills? Long Yu asked with a frown. Ever since he had obtained the cultivation method of a 9-abyss dragon fist, he knew that there must be a higher grade than supreme-ranked martial skills. However, he had no idea what it was. Now that he was facing Zhongyun, he could ask about it. Of course. Chapter 69. A high-grade spear art. In the valley behind the Jintian clan's martial skill pavilion, there were a total of 9 transcendent martial skills, but none of them were spear arts. If one wanted to practice spear arts, they could only choose from high-grade martial skills. If you enter the true spirit realm, there is a powerful spear art recorded in the Qian dragon spear, but you can't use it right now. Bai Yunzong said. Long Yu finally understood why Bai Yunzong wanted him to use a high-grade spear art temporarily. A high-grade spear art would be eliminated sooner or later, but that would have to wait until he entered the true spirit realm. This was not an easy task, or at least it would take some time. Therefore, Long Yu needed a high-grade spear art to familiarize himself with the Qian dragon spear. The spear is always charging forward, and the most important thing is momentum. I've comprehended the heaven-suppressing techniques, grand power of heaven and earth, so even if I don't practice spear arts, I can still display great power with the Qian dragon spear. Long Yu thought to himself as he bid farewell to Bai Yunzong. Time waited for no man. Bai Yunzong had told him everything he could, so he had to rely on his own efforts. He could feel that the Qian dragon spear seemed to be hiding some kind of secret that he couldn't understand at the moment. Perhaps he would be able to pry into it after entering the true spirit realm. For some reason, Long Yu felt that the Qian dragon spear seemed to have its own intelligence, but it was deeply hidden and he couldn't sense it. Soon, Long Yu descended the mountain and arrived at the entrance of the Jintian clan's martial skill pavilion. Dressed in a tight black outfit, Bufang stood at the edge of the cliff near the martial skill pavilion, gazing at the sea of clouds, attracting the attention of the passing Jintian clan disciples. Bufang's fame was known by almost all the Jintian clan disciples. At this moment, they saw Bufang standing there as if he was waiting for someone, which made them curious. Who was the #1 core disciple of the sect waiting for? Could it be that he had taken a fancy to a beautiful girl? When Long Yu's figure appeared in front of them, many people's eyes lit up. Why is this kid here? I heard that Long Yu is very strong, to be able to defeat Feng Yun and become the 10th core disciple. Feng Yun died in Jade Pass City, but I received the news that he was killed by the combined forces of the 3 major clans. This Long Yu only picked up a bargain at most. I think so too. However, just based on this, he actually became the 10th core disciple in an instant. It's really too unfair. In 2 days, the reward for this month's core disciples will be released. This Long Yu has picked up a big bargain. Every disciple sect clans hall. Clan John Tion sect, disciple clan clans sect clan of sect, disciples clan sect of sect. Inner disciples could get a low-grade elixir every 2 months or a mid-grade elixir every 4 months. The disciples could choose for themselves. Sect of sect of QS ranked core disciples, for example. If Long Yu was ranked 10th, he would receive a high rank pill every month or a high rank combat weapon if he maintained his rank for 3 months. If he maintained his rank for half a year, he would receive a supreme rank pill. If he maintained his rank for a year, he would receive a supreme rank combat weapon. Other than pills and combat weapons, core disciples would also receive other rewards, which were helpful in increasing one's strength. Of course, every disciple would have to accept special missions from the sect when they receive their rewards. For example, they would have to collect herbs, kill a fierce beast, chase down a defected disciple, capture enemies of the sect, and so on. Once these missions were completed, the next reward would be guaranteed. If the mission was not completed, the next reward would not be given, and the disciple would only receive a new mission. Although Long Yu had been a disciple for 3 months, he had always been different from the ordinary disciples. Apart from improving too quickly, he did not interact much with the ordinary disciples. He did not receive the sect's rewards, and, of course, he did not complete any missions for the sect. But now, the reward for becoming a core disciple would be given in 2 days. If Long Yu received his reward, it would definitely increase his strength by a lot, and at the same time, he would receive a mission. The higher one's rank was, the better the reward would be, and the more difficult the mission would be. It was precisely because of this that many people felt jealous of Long Yu. They all felt that with Long Yu's strength, he was not qualified to be ranked 10th among the core disciples. Yet, 2 days later, he would be given a reward based on his current rank, which made them unhappy. Long Yu strolled over, and when he saw that the people around him seemed to be unhappy with him, he couldn't help but feel puzzled. Ranked 10th among the core disciples. Reward? Of course. Long Yu knew about the Jintian clan's rules for disciple rewards. He was just a little surprised that he had replaced Feng Yun and become the 10th among the core disciples. He did not think too much about it, and only greeted Bu Feng. Senior Bu. Long Yu waved his hand. Seeing his action, the surrounding people instantly revealed a mocking expression. Who did this Long Yu think he was? Did he think that Senior Bu would agree to his request just because he called him Senior Bu? Who didn't know that Senior Bu, the #1 core disciple in the sect, had an arrogant temperament? If one was not at the same level as him, one would not even bother to interact with him. This Long Yu was definitely going to be humiliated. However, just as these people were thinking about this, Bu Feng's action gave them a huge shock. Junior brother Long Yu, come over here. This is a letter from Ling Han. Take it. Bu Feng turned around, and with a swing of his hand, he threw an envelope over. Pa Long Yu caught it with one hand and casually said, "Thank you, Senior Bu." "Ha, I'll be leaving first." Bu Feng laughed arrogantly, turned around, and instantly disappeared from everyone's sight. This caused the surrounding people to be dumbfounded. Senior Bu had been standing there for so long just to wait for this Long Yu. Furthermore, he was only here to deliver a messenger pigeon to Long Yu. He was actually waiting here personally. Could it be that there was something special about this Long Yu? That's right, this Long Yu seemed to have some sort of relationship with the sect elder. Many people thought that their guess was correct. This Long Yu must have a relationship with the sect elder, which was why he was able to progress so smoothly and receive all kinds of resources from the sect. Otherwise, how could this Long Yu rise from the 4th stage to the 8th stage of the martial path in just 3 months? Moreover, with his cultivation at the 8th stage of the martial path, how could he replace Feng Yun and become the 10th core disciple? In the past, when a core disciple died outside, all the disciples behind him would move up 1 rank, leaving the 108th position empty. But now, this was an exception for Long Yu. Unfortunately, no matter what the surrounding people thought, Long Yu would not care about them. He put away Ling Han's letter and stepped into the martial skill pavilion. He walked towards the 3rd floor of the martial skill pavilion, preparing to choose a high-grade spear technique. The 1st floor of the martial skill pavilion was a place to cultivate the heaven-suppressing technique. The 2nd floor was where outer disciples chose martial techniques. The 3rd floor that Long Yu headed to was only accessible to inner disciples. Long Yu? He had just stepped into the 3rd floor when a clear voice filled with joy suddenly sounded. Long Yu looked up and discovered that it was Liao Lele. This beautiful girl was also here to choose a martial technique. Liao Lele, I didn't expect you to be so fast. You're already at the 6th stage of the martial path. When Long Yu saw her, he couldn't help but feel a sense of familiarity. At that time, he could be said to have no relatives in the Jintian clan. When he faced Feng Yang, Feng Kong, and Feng Yun alone, it was this girl who had always been by his side. Are you mocking me? You're already in the 8th stage of the martial path, and I'm only in the 6th stage. You call this fast? Liao Lele lightly snorted as her eyes flashed with an indescribable light. She quickly came before Long Yu and raised her head. Not bad. You're indeed in the 8th stage of the martial path. You can even defeat Feng Yun, who's in the 9th stage of the martial path. Impressive, impressive. This matter has spread pretty fast. Long Yu smiled. It had only been 2 days since the incident in Jade Pass City, but he didn't expect it to spread throughout the entire Jintian clan. Feng Yun is already dead, so of course it would spread fast. Liao Lele rolled her eyes. On the other hand, you made an exception and replaced Feng Yun as the 10th rank core disciple. This caused many core disciples to be secretly dissatisfied. Didn't a fellow go to the Elder Pavilion to challenge you? Challenge me? Long Yu was stunned when he heard this. That's right. The one who challenged you this time is Meng Su, who's ranked 15th. If you're defeated by him, you'll drop to 15th, and your reward for this month will be much lower. Liao Lele explained. Ranked 15th, Meng Su. Long Yu squinted his eyes. He had never heard of this Meng Su before. In terms of strength, he should be stronger than Ling Lai, but not Feng Yun. Now that Long Yu could even defeat Feng Yun with a single punch, he naturally wouldn't be afraid of this Meng Su. All right, do you know what the reward for the 10th rank core disciple is? Long Yu asked. It's a high-grade elixir and a chance to cultivate in the Valley of Ancestors for 3 days. Liao Lele said straightforwardly, if you drop to 15th, you'll still get the high-grade elixir, but you'll only have 2 days to cultivate in the Valley of Ancestors. Cultivate in the Valley of Ancestors. When Long Yu heard this, he instantly had some expectations. After all, he had stayed in the Jintian clan for a long time, so he naturally knew what the Valley of Ancestors was. It was a cultivation ground that only core disciples could enter, and it was extremely beneficial for cultivators to comprehend the heaven-suppressing art. In the Jintian clan, more than 80% of cultivators comprehended the heaven-suppressing art while cultivating in the Valley of Ancestors. If I can cultivate in the Valley of Ancestors, I'll be able to consolidate the power of heaven and earth and increase my understanding of the law of heaven and earth, laying the foundation for my domain. Long Yu thought in his heart. Cultivating in the Valley of Ancestors was the most important reward for the Jintian clan's core disciples. As for the high-grade elixir, it wasn't that important. This was because all the core disciples had already reached the 8th or 9th stage of the martial path. A mere high-grade elixir could only save them 1 or 2 months of cultivation time, and it wouldn't allow them to break through quickly and increase their strength. Chapter 70. Long Yu wanted to enter the Sect Valley to cultivate in order to consolidate the power of heaven and earth and lay the foundation for the cultivation of the domain. If other Jintian clan disciples knew about this, they would all find it hard to believe. When they hadn't even comprehended the concept, or when they had just comprehended the concept, they were worlds apart from the divine charm. But Long Yu had already grasped the momentum of the world. Among all the disciples of the Jintian clan, those who could comprehend the power of heaven and earth could be counted on one hand. Walking was one, and so was Long Yu. Other than them, only the top few core disciples could possibly have mastered the power of heaven and earth. That Meng Su, when is he going to challenge me? Long Yu asked Liao Lele. 2 days later, at the arena, Liao Lele said, also, 3 days later, you can go to the Elder Cabinet to receive your reward. I know you comprehended the heaven suppression technique early, so you have to grasp the opportunity to cultivate in the Sect Valley. Long Yu nodded, indicating that he understood. Then I'll leave first. Come back and cultivate with me after you've chosen your martial arts technique. Liao Lele giggled and turned to leave. Long Yu looked at her back until she left. Only then did he start to prepare to do his own things. As he paced, he opened a messenger pigeon in his hand. This letter was sent by Ling Han from the Ling family villa, signed by Long Yu. He found a secluded corner and unfolded the letter. To Brother Long. Once he saw the signature at the beginning, Long Yu's entire face darkened. This Ling Han. Was he going to let him read the letter in a pleasant manner? However, as Long Yu continued to read, the contents of the letter caused a look of contemplation to surface in his eyes. The Ling family villa, a great treasure, is about to appear. This Ling Han invited me to meet him at the Ling family villa in half a month's time to explore the treasure together. Long Yu thought that since he had nothing to do in half a month's time, he might as well make a trip to the Ling family villa. He casually walked to the wall of the martial skill pavilion beside a lit candle and burned the letter along with the envelope, leaving no trace behind. Then, he went to the bookshelf of spear techniques and started to choose. Heaven Suppression Spear Technique. Long Yu flipped through it for a while and quickly picked out a high-grade spear technique. There were not many people who cultivated the heaven-suppressing spear art. This was because in order to unleash the might of the heaven-suppressing spear art, there was a prerequisite, and that was to comprehend the concept of the heaven-suppressing spear art. The deeper one's understanding of the heaven suppression spear technique, the more powerful it would be. The Jintian clan created this spear technique to complement the heaven suppression spear technique. Other martial techniques could not directly use the suppressive laws of heaven and earth. However, this heaven-suppressing spear art could infuse the suppressive state, divine charm, and even the power of heaven and earth. The spear was like a dragon, suppressing all living things. Although this heaven suppression spear technique is only a superior spear technique, if it is combined with the laws of heaven and earth, the power it can display is definitely not inferior to a superior martial art technique. Long Yu's eyes lit up. Moreover, the combat weapon in his hand was left behind by his father, a super combat weapon that surpassed the supreme grade, the Qian Dragon Spear. If the Heaven Suppression Spear technique was combined with the Qian Dragon Spear, how powerful would it be if it was combined with the laws of heaven and earth? Let's wait and see. Long Yu chose the heaven-suppressing spear art and firmly memorized the cultivation method within it before leaving the martial skill pavilion. What he did not expect was that as soon as he walked out of the martial skill pavilion, a group of people walked over aggressively and blocked his way. "Everyone, what can I do for you?" Long Yu glanced at them and found that they were all experts of the 8th and 9th level of the martial path. Almost all of them were core disciples. Outside the martial skill pavilion, many disciples were looking over, pointing and whispering to each other. They looked at Long Yu as if Long Yu was in trouble. "You're Long Yu?" A disdainful voice came from the leader of the group. Long Yu looked at the person and realized that he looked familiar. He actually looked a little similar to Luo Changhui from the Feng family of Jade Pass City. "You're from the Luo family?" Long Yu asked. "I'm the adopted son of the Luo family, Luo Tailong." A fierce glint flashed in the leader's eyes. Long Yu looked at him carefully and saw that the person's eyes were fierce and his aura was as steady as Mount Tai, full of strength. Long Yu could tell from experience that Luo Tailong had killed many people, and most of them had been brutally killed. Otherwise, he would not have accumulated so much hostility. "Since you are Long Yu, 2 days from now will be the day of your death." The fierce glint in Luo Tailong's eyes was like that of the Grim Reaper, enveloping Long Yu. Luo Tailong smiled disdainfully, walked past Long Yu, and entered the martial skill pavilion. The nearby Jintian clan disciples started discussing. "That's Luo Tailong. I heard that a few days ago, he came out of seclusion after half a year and successfully challenged the 6th ranked core disciple. Luo Tailong from the Luo family is famous. He was previously ranked 12th among the core disciples with extraordinary strength. It's a pity that he received news of his foster father's death the moment he came out of seclusion. How pitiful. Wasn't the head of the Luo family of Jade Pass City, Luo Tailong's foster father, killed by Long Yu? Now, Luo Tailong will definitely make a move against Long Yu to avenge his foster father. Your news is too outdated. Luo Tailong has already made his move. In 2 days, the 15th ranked core disciple, Meng Su, who will challenge Long Yu, is Luo Tailong's man." Hearing the words of the surrounding people, Long Yu finally understood the gist of the matter. Meng Su, who was about to challenge him, was actually Luo Tailong's follower. And the current 6th ranked core disciple, Luo Tailong, was actually the foster son of Luo Changhui of Jade Pass City. Luo Tailong, what a Luo Tailong! A cold glint flashed in Long Yu's eyes. Luo Tailong was extremely strong, at least slightly stronger than Feng Yan. Otherwise, he wouldn't be ranked 6th among the Jintian clan's core disciples. The top 5 core disciples of the Jintian clan were all powerful existences that had condensed their true spirits. Therefore, the 6th ranked core disciple, Luo Tailong, could be said to be the strongest person below the true spirit realm. The existence of such a person was definitely a threat to Long Yu. Even if he couldn't threaten him, he could threaten Feng Chang'e and the Feng family of Jade Pass City. "Even if you didn't provoke me, I would still eliminate you. Since you've taken the initiative to find trouble with me, that's for the best. Long Yu thought coldly as he stepped out of the martial skill pavilion. He had to kill Luo Tai Long. Otherwise, he would be leaving behind a future threat for Feng Chang'e and the Feng family. Of course, even if he wanted to kill someone, he had to find the most suitable time to do so. After all, the other party was a core disciple of the Jintian clan. Long Yu couldn't just run over and kill him. Wouldn't that be disregarding the sect's rules? Long Yu definitely wouldn't do such a thing that would cause him to be criticized by others. After all, there were many ways to deal with Luo Tai Long. At the peak of the Sky Suppression Canyon, Liao Lele, who was dressed in a blue robe, was cultivating the high-grade defensive martial technique, Imperial Boulder. Imperial Boulder was indeed the most popular defensive martial technique of the Jintian clan. Especially after cultivating it to its peak, one could turn a boulder into an earth fist, combining both offense and defense. It was extremely powerful. Thus, Liao Lele chose this martial skill to cultivate. As for Long Yu, he was on the other side, wielding the Heaven Dragon Spear as he cultivated the Heaven-Suppressing Spear Art. On one hand, he needed to cultivate the Heaven-Suppressing Spear Art. On the other hand, he needed to familiarize himself with the weight and shape of the Heaven Dragon Spear. Since he was going to use the Heaven-Suppressing Spear Art, he needed to be familiar with all aspects of the Heaven Dragon Spear. Only then would he be able to control it, as if it was his own arm. If he couldn't even control the weapon in his hand, how could he use it to fight? He might as well not use the weapon at all. As long as the Heaven-Suppressing Spear Art reaches the small success stage, it will be able to fuse with the laws of heaven and earth. Whether it's the concept, the charm, the power of heaven and earth, or even the domain, they can all be fused into it, greatly increasing the power of the spear. Now that I've comprehended the power of heaven and earth, even if it's only at the small success stage of the Heaven-Suppressing Spear Art, I can still intimidate all cultivators under the true spirit realm. The only difference is how long it lasts. The small success stage of the Heaven-Suppressing Spear Art might not be enough to deal with Luo Tai Long, but it's more than enough to deal with Meng Su. As Long Yu cultivated, he evaluated his opponent's strength. He wouldn't allow himself to fail, so he had to work even harder. Although Luo Tai Long had successfully challenged the sixth core disciple, it didn't mean that he didn't have the strength to defeat the fifth core disciple. Perhaps he just didn't have 100% confidence. In Long Yu's mind, he had already imagined Luo Tai Long to be a true spirit realm expert. This was the only way to prevent him from underestimating his enemy and encountering any unexpected situations that could lead to accidents. Heaven-Suppressing Spear Art, spear like a dragon, suppress. Long Yu leaped high into the air. Wielding his spear with both hands, the spear shot out like a swimming dragon. At this moment, it was as if a dragon's roar had reached his head, causing the blood in his body to boil. This is the spirituality of the Heaven Dragon Spear. It's like a real dragon, stimulating the power of my profound qi and increasing the power of my martial skills. At this moment, Long Yu could clearly feel a spirituality hidden within the Heaven Dragon Spear. Perhaps this was the effect of communicating with a weapon. Of course, this didn't mean that Long Yu had become compatible with the Heaven Dragon Spear in a short period of time. This Heaven Dragon Spear was the weapon used by Long Yu's father, Long Zaiyan. Perhaps it had spirituality that was compatible with Long Zaiyan, and it was stimulated by the same bloodline. Long Yu had the same bloodline as Long Zaiyan in his body. This was the bloodline of the Long family of generals. However, Long Yu had been expelled from the family, and so had Long Zaiyan. At this moment, the spirituality of the Heaven Dragon Spear seemed to be crying. Long Yu's spear thrust instantly filled the entire summit of the canyon with the power of heaven and earth. Even Elder Black and Elder White, who were playing chess not far away, couldn't help but look over. It's indeed the power of heaven and earth. Sect Master didn't misjudge him. Elder White's eyes were filled with admiration as he stroked his beard. Impressive. Elder Black also nodded, his eyes filled with surprise. Chapter 71. In 2 days, Long Yu had cultivated the heaven-suppressing spear art to the small success stage and was able to integrate the concept of the heaven-suppressing art. At this moment, Long Yu held the heaven-suppressing spear in his hand and fused it with the power of heaven and earth as he executed the heaven-suppressing spear art. The might of his spear thrust was comparable to the supreme-grade martial technique, lying drunk in the yellow springs. Furthermore, this spear is imbued with the suppressive power of the laws of heaven and earth. It can condense the suppressive power at the tip of the spear, maximizing its might. Long Yu nodded in satisfaction. If Xiao Chun wanted to cultivate a superior grade martial technique to great perfection, even with the help of the 9 Underworld Dragon Seal, he would need at least half a month. In just 2 short days, it was already not bad that he could achieve a small accomplishment. At this moment, Long Yu had reached the peak of the Flash Wind Step. He could create afterimages and cross 30 meters in 3 steps in an instant. When the demon vanquishing tyrant body was cultivated to the perfection realm, it was a level higher than the Wind Flash Step. Not only did it make the body as hard as a boulder, it also tempered the 5 internal organs and dantian. The vitality of the profound chi far surpassed that of ordinary martial cultivators. Apart from that, there was also the first skill of the 9 Nether Dragon Fist, drunk lying in the yellow springs. Furthermore, he had the small perfection transcendent movement technique, Ghost Flash, and the heaven-suppressing spear art. Next, I will focus on Drunken Underworld, Ghost Flash, and heaven-suppressing spear technique. Long Yu thought to himself. There was no need for him to spend more time on the Flash Wind Step. He had already cultivated the demon vanquishing tyrant body to perfection and tempered his 5 viscera. However, lying drunk yellow springs, specter flash, and heaven-suppressing spear art, these 3 great martial techniques would bring about great changes with every increase in level. Xiao Chun would not regret spending time on them. It's time to head to the martial arena. Long Yu looked at the sky. The sun had just risen, and it was almost time for the challenge. His opponent this time was the 15th ranked core disciple, Meng Su. At the same time, Meng Su was also Luo Tailong's subordinate. Hey, wait for me, I'll go with you. Liao Lele hurriedly followed. Both of them headed towards the Xinqian clan's combat arena. In the arena, Meng Su's challenge to Long Yu had attracted the attention of many heaven-suppressing sect disciples. At this time, the martial arts arena was already filled with people. There were no empty seats, and everyone was guessing the outcome of this challenge. With Long Yu's strength, he can at most be ranked 50th among the core disciples. He will definitely lose today's battle. That's not necessarily true. I've heard that Long Yu can really defeat Feng Yun. One must know that Feng Yun's strength is no longer the 10th ranked core disciple. Are you joking? Feng Yun, if it wasn't for the alliance of the 3 great clans of Jade Pass City, how could you have lost? That's right. This Long Yu merely took advantage of the situation. After today's battle, he will reveal his true colors. Many of the Xinqian clan disciples were not optimistic about Long Yu. After all, Jade Pass City and the Xinqian clan were quite far apart. What happened there would naturally be a different story when it reached here. On the spectator stand, the ferocious-looking Luo Tailong sat in the front row. Behind him, there was a rather scholarly-looking young man who was wiping the longsword in his hand. Meng Su, are you confident? Luo Tailong asked. The scholarly young man's hand paused for a moment, then he leisurely smiled. Is there a need to ask? The longsword in my hand is a high-ranked combat weapon that I received from the sect last month. It took me 3 months to get it. This person was Meng Su. A high-ranked combat weapon was extremely powerful. Even Feng Yun did not have one. Every core disciple who wanted to obtain a high-ranked combat weapon had to complete the sect's missions for 3 consecutive months without receiving any rewards. Only then could they accumulate a high-ranked combat weapon. A high-ranked combat weapon was similar to Feng Changa's bronze ancient sword. It had a terrifying amplification effect on sword skills. Furthermore, Meng Su was already at the 9th rank of the martial path. What was there to be afraid of against a mere 8th rank Long Yu? Very good. Later on, don't care if he begs for mercy. At the very least, cripple his cultivation. Do you understand? Luo Tailong lowered his voice and reminded. Senior brother Luo, don't worry. From today onwards, even if that kid doesn't die, he will be a cripple. Meng Su's face was scholarly, but his eyes flashed with a murderous glint. He had no enmity with Long Yu, but in order to please Luo Tailong and obtain some benefits, he had decided to kill Long Yu or cripple his cultivation. Just as the two were discussing, two figures appeared at the entrance of the arena. One of them was the long-awaited black-clothed Long Yu. The other person was Liao Lele, who was wearing a blue shirt. Her cute figure immediately attracted the attention of many people when she appeared. It had to be said that Liao Lele was quite cute, especially after dressing up. Her temperament was completely different from usual. In her words, "It's not easy to go out with Long Yu, so of course I have to dress up nicely." However, Long Yu didn't mind at all. This made Liao Lele secretly unhappy. This kid didn't give her any face at all. When Long Yu arrived at the arena, he immediately saw Luo Tailong and the scholarly young man sitting behind him, Meng Su. A high-rank combat weapon, not bad. Long Yu narrowed his eyes and stepped into the arena. His opponent had a high-rank combat weapon, but he also had the Qianlong spear. Previously, when he was fighting against Feng Yun, Long Yu had defeated him with the underworld drunken skill. However, he didn't plan to use it now. He wanted to test out the power of the Qianlong spear and the heaven-suppressing spear art. Good luck, Liao Lele encouraged him, then ran to the side, ready to watch the battle. Long Yu stepped into the center of the arena and pointed the Qianlong spear at Meng Su. Come out. When the crowd saw the long spear in Long Yu's hand, they were immediately attracted by the cracks on the spear's shaft. They couldn't help but burst into laughter. This guy, even if he practiced the spear technique, he shouldn't have found such a broken spear. What a joke. Such a broken spear wants to fight against senior brother Meng Su's high-ranked combat weapon? In my opinion, the spear will be cut in half in a moment. Everyone burst into laughter, including Luo Tailong and Meng Su. Luo Tailong didn't expect Long Yu to fight with such a broken spear. He originally thought that Long Yu was only using the spear to practice his spear when he was at the entrance of the martial skill pavilion. Break his spear, break his martial arts, Luo Tailong said fiercely. Senior brother Luo, the sword in my hand won't disappoint you. Meng Su's figure moved, and he floated onto the arena. Long Yu held the Qianlong spear and looked at Meng Su. The profound energy in his body quietly gathered at the tip of the Qianlong spear. Long Yu, I was looking forward to your strength, but now, you've disappointed me. I didn't expect you to become the 10th-ranked core disciple so easily. Meng Su walked onto the arena and said indifferently. He looked at Long Yu with obvious disappointment in his eyes. Nonsense, don't talk so much, Long Yu said expressionlessly. Then, he moved his feet, and his figure flickered. With the Qianlong spear in his hand, he charged toward Meng Su. Heaven-suppressing spear art, heaven and earth aura, suppress. In that instant, before Meng Su could react, Long Yu released a terrifying heaven-suppressing aura. Then this aura completely gathered at the tip of the Qianlong spear, and it tore through the air. Meng Su didn't expect Long Yu to directly attack. He was still playing with the long sword in his hand, but Long Yu's spear had already swept toward him. What frightened him the most was that before Long Yu's spear arrived, a terrifying suppression aura had already descended. Buzz! Meng Su's mind exploded, and his entire body was instantly suppressed, unable to move at all. The profound energy in his body had completely stagnated. He wanted to release the heaven-suppressing aura that he had comprehended, but he realized that he couldn't even release it now. With the heaven-suppressing spear art combined with the Qianlong spear, this spear attack that was infused with the heaven-suppressing aura could instantly suppress an opponent. Although his thoughts were clear, his body couldn't react at all. This was a scene that no one had expected. The tip of the spear arrived and instantly pressed against Meng Su's neck. Even now, Meng Su couldn't move. You've lost, Long Yu said indifferently. Gulp. Mengsu couldn't help but swallow his saliva. Cold sweat flowed down his back, and his gaze was completely focused on Long Yu with some fear. Now, Long Yu only needed a single thrust of his spear to easily end his life. After a moment, Long Yu withdrew his hand and withdrew the Qianlong spear. Now that the Jintian clan was facing the oppression and threat of their great enemy, the Thousand Thread sect, Long Yu didn't want to cripple or kill a powerhouse of the Jintian clan at this time. No matter what, Meng Su would also be a powerhouse of the Jintian clan at the Seven Sect martial competition. However, just as he withdrew the Qianlong spear and was about to turn around to leave, a trace of ruthlessness flashed in Meng Su's eyes, and he actually launched a surprise attack toward Long Yu's back. With a flash of sword light, Meng Su used the supreme sword-type martial skill of the Jintian clan, Autumn Sword Observation. The Autumn Sword Observation that had been cultivated to the mastery realm, together with a high-ranked combat weapon in his hand, seemed to bring about the desolate scene of autumn leaves. The autumn wind blew, and withered leaves fluttered in the air. A single strike was the arrival of his opponent's Autumn of Death. Long Yu was extremely sensitive to killing intent. Before Meng Su launched a surprise attack, he was already on guard. At this moment, facing the Autumn Sword Observation that was coming from behind and the biting autumn wind, Long Yu had no intention of dodging at all. Heaven-suppressing momentum, suppress. Long Yu immediately turned around and swept his celestial dragon spear behind him with the suppressive power of heaven and earth. The terrifying heaven-suppressing momentum intertwined with the biting autumn wind, instantly suppressing the autumn wind. Then, the spear swept across Meng Su's longsword. Clang! Crack! With a single strike, the blade of the longsword was instantly shattered by the powerful force at the tip of the spear. A high-rank combat weapon was actually destroyed by Long Yu just like that. The heaven-suppressing momentum at the tip of the spear continued forward. After shattering the longsword, it once again enveloped Meng Su. Meng Su was stunned on the spot, his eyes filled with fear. No one had expected Long Yu to have the strength to crush Meng Su. A high-rank combat weapon was actually shattered by the lousy spear in Long Yu's hand. Chapter 72. As Meng Su was sent flying by the spear and fell to the ground, everyone in the arena was dumbfounded, especially the high-ranked combat weapon, which was shattered by Long Yu's shabby-looking spear. Everyone was instantly shocked. A high-ranked combat weapon was a treasure that most of the Jintian clan's disciples could only dream of owning. However, such a powerful combat weapon was shattered by Long Yu. It was not hard to imagine how much power Long Yu's spear contained. At this moment, no one dared to say that Long Yu was not worthy of being ranked 10th among the core disciples. Sending Meng Su flying with a spear and shattering a high-ranked combat weapon with great strength, no matter which one it was not something an ordinary person could do. Even Luo Tailong, who was sitting in the first row of the spectator area, had a change of expression. Shattering a high-ranked combat weapon with great strength. Even Luo Tailong himself could not do that. This Long Yu is indeed not weak. Luo Tailong squinted his eyes, which were flickering with an ominous glint. Of course, the reason why he asked Meng Su to challenge Long Yu was to test Long Yu. Now, it seemed like it was necessary. At least, it would make him, Luo Tailong, not treat Long Yu as an ordinary cultivator. That spear, there's something strange about it. Luo Tailong stared at the Qian dragon spear in Long Yu's hand, and wondered if it was a supreme-ranked combat weapon. A supreme-ranked combat weapon was something that even the number 1 core disciple of the Jintian clan might not be able to obtain. It was simply too rare and was not meant to be rewarded to a disciple. Unless a disciple made a great contribution to the Jintian clan, only then would they be rewarded with a supreme-ranked combat weapon. However, how was it possible for Long Yu to obtain one? This guy had not even completed a single ordinary mission for the sect since he joined the sect 3 months ago. As expected, you have some connections. But even so, do you think I, Luo Tailong, am afraid of you? Luo Tailong sneered but did not stand up. He already had a good idea to deal with Long Yu himself, and he didn't need to do it in front of everyone. This Meng Su really can't withstand a single blow. Just as Long Yu was about to turn around and leave the stage, a somewhat lazy voice suddenly rang out from the spectator who stands on the other side of the stage. Looking towards the source of the voice, Long Yu saw a sword-wielding man in gray walking towards him in a somewhat dispirited manner. The gray-clothed man with a sword glanced at Meng Su, who was knocked to the ground by Long Yu, and whose meridians were all broken. He shook his head and said, "TSK, TSK. To deal with a guy like Meng Su, you have to use sneak attacks. Long Yu, in my eyes, you are nothing." Hua Iluan? Long Yu furrowed his brows and quickly recalled. 2 days ago, when he was cultivating the heaven-suppressing spear art, Liao Lele had told him that the 6th-rank core disciple that Luo Tailong had defeated not long ago was called Hua Iluan, who was originally the top disciple below the true spirit mystic realm. Unfortunately, after being challenged by Luo Tailong, Hua Iluan had dropped to the 12th position of the core disciple. Hua Iluan, like Meng Su, cultivated the supreme martial technique, Autumn Observation Sword. However, his strength was much stronger than Meng Su's, and they were not on the same level. It could be said that if Hua Iluan were to fight with Meng Su, he would also be able to defeat Meng Su in one move. Based on Hua Iluan's strength, he would definitely not be willing to stay at the 12th position of the core disciple. At this moment, it was Meng Su's chance to challenge Long Yu. He had wanted to challenge Meng Su and raise his ranking to the 10th position, but he had not expected Meng Su to be so useless and be sent flying by Long Yu's spear. Sneak attack? Hua Iluan, your vision is too narrow. No wonder you were defeated by Luo Tailong. Long Yu chuckled. Although Hua Iluan said that he had defeated Meng Su with a sneak attack, the truth was that he had relied on an extremely strong heaven and earth grand power and incomparably swift speed to intimidate Meng Su. On the contrary, after Long Yu had spared Meng Su had launched a sneak attack on him, but he had been sent flying by Long Yu's absolutely stunning spear attack. How could such a battle be considered a sneak attack by Long Yu? Long Yu's words caused Hua Iluan's originally dispirited eyes to flash with a hint of fierceness. You are only ranked 10th among the core disciples, and you actually dare to lecture me, Hua Iluan, for being narrow-minded? I think you are too self-centered. Even so, what do you want? Long Yu asked calmly. The opportunity to challenge a core disciple is only available once every half a year. Originally, I did not want to waste this opportunity on you. Hua Iluan sneered. However, since you have provoked me, I, Hua Iluan, have no choice but to teach you a lesson. I will let you know who is the narrow-minded one. Clang! A crisp sound was heard. The long sword in Hua Iluan's hand was unsheathed, and a silver light shone from it. It was actually a high-ranked combat weapon. Seeing that Hua Iluan actually stood out and challenged Long Yu, the surrounding crowd became excited. It's actually Hua Iluan. It seems like Long Yu is going to lose for sure. That's right. Although Long Yu easily defeated Meng Su, Hua Iluan can do the same. There's going to be a good show. Hua Iluan was defeated by Luo Tailong, so he must be filled with resentment. This Long Yu is really unlucky to bump into him. Hua Iluan's strength was originally ranked 6th among the core disciples. Although he was defeated by Luo Tailong, his strength could still be considered as one of the top in the Jintian clan below the true spirit secret realm. In particular, Hua Iluan cultivated the transcendent rank martial skill, Autumn Observation Sword. It had long reach perfection, and he had used it against Luo Tailong. A transcendent rank sword skill of perfection was extremely powerful. Even Luo Tailong could only barely defeat Hua Iluan in the end. I accept your challenge, Long Yu said indifferently. He raised his Universe Dragon Spear and pointed it at Hua Iluan. It just so happened that Long Yu felt that Meng Su was too weak to accurately measure the power of the heaven-suppressing spear art. Now that Hua Iluan had challenged him, it was exactly what Long Yu wanted. Luo Tailong didn't seem to be preparing to make a move, so he would first use Hua Iluan as his opponent. Watch my sword. Hua Iluan's figure was incomparably elegant. With a flash of his silver longsword, he appeared in front of Long Yu. He's really fast. Long Yu's eyes lit up. This Hua Iluan's strength was indeed much stronger than Meng Su's. If Meng Su had this kind of speed, Long Yu wouldn't be able to defeat him with one spear strike. However, in terms of speed, Long Yu also had it. Ghost Flash. Long Yu transformed into a ghost, and his entire body actually became somewhat illusory. Then, he floated back more than 30 meters like smoke, easily dodging Hua Iluan's swift sword strike. How can Ghost Flash compare to my world's end near? Hua Iluan sneered. His gray-robed figure flickered, and his entire person seemed to have transformed into a world apart. He followed closely behind Long Yu. The long sword that flashed with silver light appeared in Long Yu's vision like a venomous snake. Using spear against sword, press forward. The long spear in Long Yu's hand swept horizontally, and it instantly swept out with the momentum of the heaven-suppressing spear, stabbing at the oncoming longsword. The Universe Dragon Spear seemed to have a spiritual roar of a true dragon, causing Long Yu's entire body to boil with profound energy. The momentum of heaven and earth instantly spread out in all directions, enveloping Hua Iluan's entire body. Suppress! Long Yu shouted, and the tip of his spear immediately met Hua Iluan's silver longsword. Guanqiu's sword, Fall of Autumn Leaves. Hua Iluan had indeed cultivated the Guanqiu sword to perfection. The silver longsword in his hand waved, and instantly, countless autumn leaves fell. Even under the suppression of Long Yu's momentum of heaven and earth, these autumn leaves seemed to be weightless. They all flew towards the tip of the Universe Dragon Spear, and in an instant, they completely covered it. The shadow of the spear tip was instantly covered by countless autumn leaves. Then a burst of sound rang out, and the autumn leaves instantly exploded. Hua Iluan's silver longsword pierced through the air, and actually withstood the heavy pressure of heaven and earth as it flew towards Long Yu's face. This Hua Iluan actually used the divine charm of heaven and earth to offset part of the pressure of my momentum of heaven and earth. The remaining pressure was actually unable to completely suppress him. His strength is much stronger than Meng Su's. Long Yu could clearly sense that Hua Iluan's speed had slowed down a lot under the suppression of the great power of the heavens and earth, but he was still able to move. This was the reason why his comprehension and utilization of profound energy and concepts far surpassed Meng Su. The autumn leaves exploded, and a sword of silver light attacked. Momentum of heaven and earth sweep. Long Yu swept his spear horizontally, accurately blocking Hua Iluan's sword. Moreover, the momentum of heaven and earth condensed on it suddenly formed a wave of pressure that surged towards Hua Iluan like the waves of the sea. In the face of this huge wave of pressure, Hua Iluan did not panic, and the silver longsword in his hand swung out. Guanqiu's sword Cold Frost rises. Wherever the silver light emitted from the longsword landed, patches of snow-white frost rapidly condensed, instantly forming a wall of frost. With a loud bang, it blocked the power of the world contained in Long Yu's spear. Crack! The wall of cold frost was hit by the spear condensed by the momentum of heaven and earth, and a trace of cracks appeared on its surface, but it actually blocked the spear. Not only that, the cold frost also blocked Long Yu's momentum of heaven and earth, so that it could not affect Hua Iluan himself. Your autumn of death has come. Hua Iluan sneered, and his figure jumped high. His long sword swung, and the autumn leaves danced along with the cold frost. Waves of desolate aura descended from the sky, and the whole person of Long Yu was shrouded in it. Not only that, but Long Yu could also feel that Hua Iluan and the silver longsword had reached a stage of resonance. In this way, the power of Hua Iluan's swordsmanship with the silver longsword was even greater. In the 9th stage of the martial path, using a transcendent rank martial skill to perfection, coupled with a high-grade combat weapon, was actually able to release such a terrifying power. It was much stronger than the wind and clouds from before. For Luo Tailong to be able to defeat Hua Yiluan like this, his strength cannot be underestimated. As expected of the strongest person below the true spirit realm. At this moment, Long Yu's heartbeat sped up, and even his dantian began to throb. Coupled with the spiritual roar of the true dragon in the Qianlong spear, his blood seemed to boil. Whoa. Chapter 73. Long Yu threw the cosmos dragon spear in his hand at Hua Yiluan, and the pressure of the heaven-suppressing momentum instantly enveloped his entire body. However, when Hua Yiluan saw this, he was shocked for a moment, but it was quickly followed by joy. As long as he could block this spear, wouldn't Long Yu's combat strength be greatly reduced after he threw the spear? World's End near, World's End barrier. Profound energy condensed in front of Hua Yiluan, and an illusory world's end barrier instantly appeared. This was a defensive technique that could be used after mastering the world's end near to perfection. In front of the world's end barrier, even if it was only a few feet away, it would be as far as the end of the world. The Cosmos Dragon Spear let out a spiritual roar, and the tip of the spear pointed at the world's end barrier. The pressure of the heaven and earth suddenly suppressed it, and it actually shattered the entire world's end barrier. Now that the spear has left your hand, let's see what else you can use to block my sword. With the long sword in hand, Hua Yiluan descended from the sky and launched a surprise attack. Autumn leaves fell, and cold frost rose. In the next moment, the autumn of Long Yu's death had arrived. However, Long Yu stood firmly in place, and the soul glove on his right fist flickered with a faint black mist. Nine Nether Dragon Fist, drunk in the yellow springs, eat my fist. With a punch, the aura of the Nine Nether surged out and formed a gloomy yellow springs road, instantly enveloping Hua Yiluan. The aura of the Nine Nether intimidated everything, and Hua Yiluan's mind was instantly lost in the yellow springs road. Long Yu took a leap and traversed through the yellow springs road. In a moment, he arrived in front of Hua Yiluan and heavily punched out. Bang! With a loud sound, Hua Yiluan was sent flying by the punch and fell heavily to the ground. The high-ranked combat weapon, the silver glow longsword, fell to the ground with a clang. When Hua Yiluan's gray figure fell to the ground, the entire arena fell into silence. At this moment, even Luo Tailong stood up and looked at the arena with a grave expression. Just now, when Long Yu punched out, Luo Tailong faintly felt a strange aura spreading, but it disappeared in an instant. Long Yu's punch, just now, must be some kind of super powerful martial technique, and it's definitely not a martial technique of the Jintian clan. Luo Tailong was almost certain. However, no matter how hard he tried to guess, it was impossible for him to know the origin of the Nine Abyss Dragon Fist. Not to mention him, even the leader of the Jintian clan, Bai Yunzong, would not know about the Dragon Fist of the Nine Nether. Is there anyone else who wants to challenge? Long Yu surveyed his surroundings. With a wave of his hand, he picked up the Heaven Dragon Spear and looked down upon everyone like a king. His gaze lingered on Luo Tailong for a moment. If Luo Tailong wanted to fight, Long Yu wouldn't mind fighting again. Unfortunately, Luo Tailong sneered, and his killing intent didn't diminish in the slightest. You are the 10th core disciple, and I am the 6th core disciple. If anyone wants to challenge someone, it should be you challenging me. Is that so? Long Yu said nonchalantly. However, who was the one who said that today was the day of my death? The person who killed your father? I am right in front of you, but you don't dare to challenge me. What a joke. You don't have to provoke me. The fact that you were able to defeat Hua Yiluan today means that your strength is still up to par. Luo Tailong remained unmoved as he said coldly. However, with your cultivation in the 8th stage of the martial path, there's still a gap between us. As soon as he finished speaking, Luo Tailong turned around and walked out of the arena, leaving the crowd only to see his ferocious figure in red. Long Yu narrowed his eyes as he looked at Luo Tailong's back. He thought to himself that this Luo Tailong would be a difficult opponent. Just by sensing his killing intent, he could tell that he had killed many people. Such a person definitely wouldn't be able to use simple strategies. The only method Long Yu could use was to crush him with absolute strength. Tomorrow is the time to receive the core disciple reward. I'll go back and rest first before heading to the Sect Valley to cultivate. With the Universe Dragon Spear in hand, Long Yu didn't even look at Hua Yiluan and Meng Su, who were lying on the ground. He walked straight to the exit of the arena. Naturally, Liao Lele was overjoyed as well. Long Yu had won 2 rounds in such a domineering manner, allowing her to have a deeper understanding of Long Yu's strength. This had also stimulated her conviction to work hard in her cultivation. After Long Yu and Luo Tailong left, the spectators in the arena once again broke out into heated discussions. The fist technique that Long Yu used is definitely not one of our Jintian clan's martial techniques. Furthermore, that spear is definitely not a reward from the Jintian clan. Who is he? I heard that he grew up in the Ling family villa. However, wasn't there news 2 days ago that the Ling family villa's eldest son, Ling Lai, had one of his arms crippled by Long Yu? That's right, it's too strange. I even heard that he's from the Feng family. Which news is true and which is false? Everyone was discussing fervently, but no one knew where Long Yu had come from. White Cloud had asked many elders to spread false news. Of course, they had to first confuse their own people before they could confuse others. At least for now, Long Yu's true identity couldn't be discovered by some people in the Imperial City. The next day, after resting for a day, Long Yu went to the elders' cabinet in the bamboo forest alone. Early in the morning, there were many people coming and going in the elders' cabinet. This was because many core disciples had chosen to receive their core disciple rewards today. At the same time, they accepted the sect's missions and made their due contributions to the sect. Yang Tiansua ranked 13th among the core disciples. Reward: 1 superior grade elixir, 1 wind parting pill. 2 days of cultivation in the Sect Valley. A mighty and majestic voice came from the elders' pavilion and entered Long Yu's ears from far away. Yang Tiansua, who had previously failed to challenge Feng Yun, was still ranked 13th among the core disciples. Today, he had also come to receive his core disciple rewards. Long Yu walked towards the elder's cabinet. Soon, he saw a cold-looking young man in white walking out. It was Yang Tiansua. Upon seeing Long Yu, Yang Tiansua's eyes were obviously surprised. However, he snorted coldly. "So it's you, Long Yu. Did Ling Han also invite you to go to the Ling clan's manor house?" "You know Ling Han?" Long Yu raised his eyebrows and asked. When he wasn't clear about the other party's stance, Long Yu definitely wouldn't take the initiative to reveal any information about himself to others. "He invited me, Yang Tiansua, to head to the Ling family villa in half a month to help him with something." Yang Tiansua was habitually arrogant. However, he immediately thought of the news that spread yesterday. This Long Yu had actually consecutively defeated Meng, Su, and Hua Yiluan. His strength was clearly stronger than Yang Tiansua's. Yang Tiansua had failed to challenge Feng Yun. However, Long Yu had actually killed Feng Yun in Jade Pass City. Who was strong and who was weak? One look was enough to tell. However, Yang Tiansua immediately thought of something. He put away the feeling of defeat in his heart and regained his confidence. He glanced at Long Yu and said coldly, "The Ling family villa is enough for the few of us to go. It's better if you don't go. There is only one great treasure, and not just anyone could obtain it. You only have one life. If you don't listen to my warning and insist on going, don't blame me for not warning you when the time comes and you lose your life. My life doesn't seem to have anything to do with you," Long Yu said indifferently. Hearing this Yang Tiansua's words, how could he not see the other party's hostility towards him? Since he was an enemy and not a friend, there was no need for Long Yu to say anything more to him. With Ling Han's invitation, Long Yu definitely had to go. Otherwise, wouldn't that be not giving Ling Han face? Just because of that, brother Long Yu couldn't reject Ling Han. As for this Yang Tiansua, The meaning of his words was to warn Long Yu not to snatch the treasure from them. However, in Long Yu's view, that treasure should originally belong to Ling Han. He also didn't know who Ling Han had invited to go with him. It's up to you whether you want to listen or not. You will soon know that life or death is completely your own choice. Yang Tianxue finished speaking coldly. Holding the high-grade wind-parting pill that he had just been rewarded, he turned around and left. Long Yu looked at his cold back view and laughed lightly. This Yang Tianxue's threat, he wouldn't even put it in his eyes. He collected his thoughts, turned around, and walked into the Elder Cabinet. This was the third time he came to the Elder Cabinet, and every time he came, the people he saw were different. The first time, he saw almost all the elders of the Jintian clan. The second time, he only saw the sect leader, Bai Yunzong. This time, he saw a strong man with a dark face and thick arms. He was Elder Wu Jianxin, who was in charge of handing out the rewards to the core disciples. Elder Wu, I'm Long Yu, ranked 10th among the core disciples. Long Yu calmly walked into the Elder Cabinet and introduced himself to Elder Wu Jianxin. Wu Jianxin raised his head, and a dark face appeared in front of Long Yu. However, he didn't look too good. You're Long Yu? Wu Jianxin snorted. Ranked 10th among the core disciples. Your reward is a high-grade wind-parting pill. In addition, you can cultivate in the Sect Valley for 3 days. Long Yu wasn't surprised by Wu Jianxin's attitude. Before coming here, Long Yu had already heard that Luo Tailong was Elder Wu Jianxin's disciple. In a Jintian clan, if a disciple was talented enough and caught the eye of the Elder Cabinet or the Enforcement Elder, they could be accepted as a disciple and nurtured with more cultivation resources. Each Elder of the Elder Cabinet could choose 2 disciples, while the Enforcement Elder could only choose 1 disciple. For example, Qin Tianke was the disciple of the Enforcement Elder, Tan Wuchuan. Now, Wu Jianxin was Luo Tailong's master. As for the most talented core disciple in the sect, he was accepted as a disciple by the sect leader, Bai Yunzong. This world was a world of martial arts elites. Of course, the Jintian clan implemented an elite strategy. They allowed the elders to recruit talented disciples and give them more cultivation resources. This way, they could nurture more pillars for the sect. Currently, many of the elders in the Elder Cabinet were disciples of another elder. For example, Li Bufan, the handsome young man in green who was guarding the martial skill pavilion, was the eldest disciple of the sect leader, Bai Yunzong. This is a wind-parting pill. Catch. Wu Jianxin threw a small porcelain bottle containing the pill to Long Yu with a dark face and said, You've received this month's reward. This month, you have to complete a mission for the sect. The contents of this mission are recorded on this bamboo slip. A bamboo slip with some words recorded on it was thrown into Long Yu's hands. Long Yu caught the bamboo slip and couldn't help but think that since Wu Jianxin was Luo Tailong's master, he must have known that Long Yu had killed Luo Tailong's adoptive father, Luo Chenghui, in Jade Pass City. Chapter 74. After Long Yu left the Elder's Pavilion, he opened the rolled-up bamboo slip and looked at its contents. Elder Yu Shuiyun was injured while defending against the Thousand Thread Sect's enemy. He needs some special herbs to refine pills to heal his injuries. As a core disciple of the sect, he is obligated to head into the depths of the soaring snake abyss to collect 3 types of herbs for Elder Yu. For this mission, 5 teams of core disciples will be dispatched, each led by Enforcement Elder. Among them, Luo Tailong, Long Yu, and Meng Su will form the 4th team, led by Enforcement Elder Tan Wuchuan. Herbs to be collected: dragon head grass, flowerless acorn, and sweet tulip flower. Once he finished reading the contents of the bamboo scroll, a cold light flashed in Long Yu's eyes. This mission was to collect herbs for Elder Yu to refine pills to heal his injuries. Of course, Long Yu was happy to accept this. Even if the sect didn't reward him, he would still do his best. After all, Elder Yu was injured to save him and Ling Han. But now he was in the same team as Luo Tailong and Meng Su, and Tan Wuchuan was the leader. The sinister intention behind this was obvious. Long Yu had killed Tan Wuchuan's disciple, Qin Tianke, and Luo Tailong's godfather, Luo Changwei. Once they entered the depths of the soaring snake abyss with these two people, how could Long Yu survive? No matter how strong Long Yu was, he couldn't fight Tan Wuchuan of the true spirit realm head-on. What a good plan. Long Yu's eyes flashed. However, did Wu Jianxin really think that he would be able to finish off Long Yu with just this? Long Yu, have never been afraid of anything. Long Yu thought to himself, counter soldiers with arms, water with an earth weir. Even if Tan Wuchuan from the true spirit realm wanted to kill him in the middle of a mission, it would not be an easy task. Dragon head grass, flowerless acorn, and bittersweet flower. These three herbs could only be found in the depths of the soaring serpent abyss. The last time Long Yu went to the soaring serpent abyss and saw the soaring serpent king, it was only in the middle of the soaring serpent abyss. If he went deeper, he would encounter even more powerful beasts. He might even encounter spirit beasts that had condensed their true spirits. On the heavenly mandate continent, if a ferocious beast could comprehend heaven and earth and cultivate along the way, it could also condense a true spirit and become a powerful existence like the martial arts cultivators in the true spirit secret realm. Because of this, when core disciples ventured into the depths of the soaring snake abyss, every team would be led by someone from the true spirit secret realm to ensure maximum safety. I'll first go to the Sek Valley to cultivate for 3 days and strive to improve my strength. After that, I'll go visit Elder Yu and prepare to set off. Long Yu looked at the contents of the bamboo slip and saw that it was to depart for the depths of the soaring serpent abyss in 5 days. Having made up his mind, he quickly headed towards the Jintian clan's Zhonggu. The Jintian clan, the Zhonggu. This was the best place for disciples of the Jintian clan to comprehend the heaven-suppressing will. It was the foundation of the entire Jintian clan. This valley was originally the cultivation ground of the founder of the Jintian clan. After achieving the heaven-suppressing law, he founded the Jintian clan and developed it into one of the 7 major clans of the Tang Empire. The founder of the Jintian clan had carved many calligraphy and paintings on the walls of the Zhonggu. Every stroke of the calligraphy and painting was connected to heaven and earth and contained an extremely profound suppressing will. If the disciples of the Jintian clan cultivated in the Zhonggu, their comprehension of the heaven-suppressing law would be more than 10 times faster than in other places. However, the suppressing will in the Zhonggu could not allow too many people to cultivate at the same time. The entire Zhonggu could only accommodate at most 3 people cultivating at the same time before it reached a state of saturation. If one more person cultivated, the suppressing will contained within the Zhonggu would not be enough, and everyone's cultivation efficiency would be greatly reduced. Because of this, even the core disciples of the Jintian clan were limited to 2 or 3 days if they wanted to cultivate in the Zhonggu. The higher one's ranking was, the more time they could cultivate in the Zhonggu every month. When Long Yu arrived at the Zhonggu, he discovered that it was a small valley. However, just the aura emanating from it made him understand that this was not a simple valley. There's already one person inside. Long Yu stood at the entrance of his own gu with the Qian dragon spear in hand. He saw that there was already someone cultivating in the Zhonggu. However, if it was just one person, Long Yu could still enter and his cultivation efficiency would not be affected. The sign at the entrance of the Zhonggu only stated that no more than 3 people could cultivate in the Zhonggu at the same time. Junior brother, wait up. Just as Long Yu was about to step into the Zhonggu, a young man's voice suddenly sounded from the side. Long Yu turned his head and saw a young man in a white robe walking out with his head held high. He could tell at a glance that this fellow was arrogant. Junior brother, you want to enter the Zhonggu, right? There's already someone cultivating in the Zhonggu now. You should come back in 2 days. The white-robed young man looked at Long Yu disdainfully and said, the Zhonggu can accommodate 3 people to cultivate. There's only one person inside now. Why can't I enter? Long Yu asked indifferently. Do you know who's cultivating in the Zhonggu now? The white-robed young man held his head high and said, "It's senior brother Ian, who's ranked 7th among the core disciples. He's currently at a crucial stage of comprehending the power of heaven and earth and doesn't want to be disturbed by anyone." "So you're saying that you're Ian's lackey?" Long Yu chuckled softly. This Ian was really overbearing. He actually occupied the Zongu, which could accommodate 3 people, and had his lackey stop others from entering. How arrogant! I advise you to watch your mouth. The white-robed young man's face darkened. "I saw that you're only in the 8th stage of the martial path, so I warned you out of goodwill. Now that you've spoken rudely to me, if I, Lu Shucheng, don't teach you a lesson, you won't know how to respect the strong." Long Yu glanced at him. Lu Shucheng? Soon, a name popped up in Long Yu's mind. This white-robed young man, Lu Shucheng, was ranked 21st among the core disciples. He had just stepped into the 9th stage of the martial path and had been following Ian around to show off. Many disciples have been bullied by Lu Shucheng and Ian, but they had no way to redress their grievances. This was because Ian's master was the same as Luo Tailong, Elder Wu Jianxin, who was in charge of the distribution of rewards to the core disciples. An elder of the Jintian clan could choose 2 disciples. Wu Jianxin's 2 disciples were Ian and Luo Tailong. Among them, Ian was ranked 7th among the core disciples, while Luo Tailong was ranked 6th. Their potential was limitless, and Wu Jianxin's words carried a lot more weight among the elders. Correspondingly, even Lu Shucheng, who had been following Ian around, felt that he was someone important. A fox assuming the might of a tiger. You're quite good at it. However, in my eyes, Lu Shucheng, you're nothing more than a clown. Long Yu glanced at Lu Shucheng from the corner of his eyes. When the white-clothed youth, Lu Shucheng, heard this, his expression changed. Long Yu? Although he had never seen Long Yu before, he had heard of this name. Just yesterday, this Long Yu had defeated Meng Su and Hua Yiluan in the martial arts arena and secured his position as the 10th core disciple. Whether it was Meng Su or Hua Yiluan, they were much stronger than Lu Shucheng. This made Lu Shucheng's expression turn ugly. He took 2 steps back and stared at Long Yu nervously. "Anyway, I've already reminded you that even if you're Long Yu, you're not senior brother Ian's match. If you enter the Sect Valley and anger senior brother Ian, you'll have to bear the consequences yourself." Obviously, this Lu Shucheng was terrified when he heard Long Yu's name. Haha! Upon seeing this, Long Yu burst into laughter and walked into the Sect Valley with the Qian dragon spear in his hand. Against a lackey like Lu Shucheng who bullied the weak and feared the strong, there was no need for him to make a move. Just the mention of his name was enough to scare him off. This kind of person, no matter how high his cultivation was not worthy of Long Yu's attention. As for Ian, who had occupied the entire Sect Valley, Long Yu wanted to see how strong he was and how he would compare to the 6th core disciple, Hua Yiluan. Long Yu scared Lu Shucheng off with a single sentence. He turned around and quickly entered the Sect Valley. As soon as he entered the Sect Valley, he felt the aura of the laws of heaven and earth descending from the sky, similar to the scene at the Sky Suppression Canyon. However, the pressure in the Sect Valley was much stronger than the Sky Suppression Canyon. Heavenly Meridian Link. Long Yu felt the heavenly meridian in his body being linked up with the aura of the laws of heaven and earth descending from the Sect Valley, allowing him to gain a deeper understanding of the laws of heaven and earth. Cultivating in this Sect Valley for 3 days will definitely be beneficial. At the very least, I can consolidate the force of heaven and earth and use it more skillfully. The suppressive aura will also be at least 30% stronger than it is now. At that time, I could try to cultivate the heaven suppression territory. Long Yu was shocked in his heart. Cultivating in the Sect Valley for 3 days was equivalent to cultivating in the outside world for a month. The effect was more than 10 times stronger. No wonder so many disciples of the Jintian clan desperately wanted to enter the ranks of the core disciples. As long as they entered the ranks of the core disciples, they would at least be able to cultivate in the Sect Valley for a day. Who dares disturb my cultivation? At this moment, a cold harumph came from the Sect Valley. Ian, who was occupying the Sect Valley, immediately stood up and glared at Long Yu when he sensed Long Yu entering the Sect Valley. Ian was wearing a grayish-white robe. He had a muscular body and looked like a rock. His eyes flickered with impatience, like a vicious wolf, as he stared at Long Yu with an ominous glint. The Sect Valley can accommodate 3 people to cultivate. Don't you think it's too much for you to occupy it alone? Long Yu was not afraid at all as he stared at Ian and said calmly, "Too much, haha, too much." Ian burst out laughing, but there was a hidden murderous intent in his laughter. I, again, have been in the Jintian clan for so many years, but this is the first time I've heard someone say that I'm too much in front of me. You are very bold, but I don't know if your life is great or not. I feel that my life is more important than yours. Long Yu said calmly. This Ian was truly domineering to the extreme. He wanted to kill at the slightest disagreement, completely disregarding the sentiments of fellow disciples. I, Ian, will soon let you know that it's not up to you to decide if your life is great or not. Ian's body was like a rock as his eyes flickered with murderous intent. Chapter 75. While Ian was enraged, he had overlooked the most fundamental thing. If he had a strong will, how could a single person entering the sect and cultivating on their own affect him at all? Ian had been at the 9th level of the martial path for a long time, but he was unable to condense a true spirit. It was not because he lacked talent, but because his mind was not strong enough. When Ian's killing intent spread, Long Yu was naturally ready for battle. As he felt the suppressive aura descending from the sect, he gripped the Cosmos Dragon's spear tightly and began to condense the power of heaven and earth. A mere 8th level martial path and dares to disrespect me. Ian, die. Ian shouted and stomped his right foot on the ground, forming a boulder shield wall. High-grade martial technique, Imperial Boulder. At that moment, Ian used the Imperial Boulder martial technique not to defend, but to attack. Immediately afterward, the boulder shield wall instantly transformed into hundreds of earth fists that shot toward Long Yu like a dense cannonball. Cosmos Dragon's spear, suppress. Long Yu held the spear in his hand, and his steps were steady. He aimed at the hundreds of earth fists and thrust his spear forward. The powerful heaven-suppressing pressure suppressed all the earth fists in an instant, and then they were sent flying one by the tip of his spear. In just a moment, Ian's attack was completely ineffective. Power of heaven and earth. Ian felt the pressure from Long Yu's spear, and his stone-like face changed slightly. "You're Long Yu." "That's me." Long Yu held his spear and stood as steady as Mount Tai. "Ha, Long Yu, so it's you. No wonder you're so arrogant." Ian laughed loudly. "You killed my junior brother, Luo Tailong's adoptive father. Today, let me avenge my junior brother." Along with his wild laughter, a terrifying, profound energy condensed on one of his legs. Following that, his entire body jumped up, and like a whirlwind, he kicked towards Long Yu. At the same time, a mournful whimpering sound came from his leg, as if the heavens were weeping. Transcendent rank martial skill, Heaven's Tears. As one of the 9 supreme martial skills of the Jintian clan, the Heaven's Cry was the most unique martial skill because it was not a specific skill. It was just a skill that could be used to summon the Heaven's Cry with one's own Xian Qi. After cultivating the Heaven's Cry, regardless of whether it was a punch or a kick, he could easily trigger the Heaven's Cry and produce an extremely strong explosive force when it struck his opponent. In fact, he could even use his battle weapon to trigger the Heaven's Cry. Regardless of whether it was a saber, a spear, a sword, or a halberd, he could use his Xian Qi to vibrate and trigger the Heaven's Cry. When he struck his enemy, the Heaven's Cry would explode. Ian was like a whirlwind as he kicked out horizontally. He actually let out a mournful woo-woo sound. It was obvious that he was using his profound energy to trigger the heaven's tears. Once his kick landed, it would cause a heaven-crying explosion. Long Yu wasn't sure how powerful it was, so he naturally wouldn't go head-on against it without any preparation. Blizzard Bind. Long Yu activated the blizzard boots on his feet. Instantly, a field of crushed ice and snow surged out from the boots and surged toward the whirlwind-like Ian. Ian's whirlwind-like figure was immediately obstructed by the ice and snow. In addition, there was a heaven-suppressing force in the valley, causing the momentum of his kick to be reduced to its weakest state. But now, when Long Yu stabbed out with his spear, he had integrated the force of heaven and earth into his body. His momentum had reached its peak. Qianlong's spear, suppress. The tip of Long Yu's spear moved, and a wave of pressure swept out like a tornado, entangling with the flying kick of Ian. Heaven's cry explode. Ian yelled. Suddenly, a sound that sounded like the heavens weeping could be heard. A strong airflow erupted and pushed Long Yu back a few steps. The tip of the Qianlong spear in Long Yu's hand trembled violently. The force of the heaven-crying explosion actually resisted the force of heaven and earth and pushed Long Yu back. It was clear how powerful it was. You can't do it. Ian laughed loudly and followed up with another kick. At the same time, he used the world's in near at the same time, turning a foot into a foot and instantly appeared in front of Long Yu. The top-ranked core disciples had basically cultivated a supreme martial technique, the world's in near at the same time, because the effects of this martial technique were very good. For example, now that Ian suddenly appeared in front of Long Yu, he almost couldn't react. Demon subduing Vajra shield. Long Yu yelled, and a layer of faint golden light appeared on the surface of his body, enveloping his entire body. Woo-woo. The sound of heaven's cry entered Long Yu's ears like a whirlwind. Then, he used his arms to block and was kicked by Ian heavily. A heaven's cry explosion exploded. Boom! In a loud noise, Long Yu took a few steps back again. However, the faint golden light on the surface of his body was still there, and he was not injured at all. The consummate realm of the demon subduing tyrant body had outstanding defensive ability. Even in the face of Ian's supreme martial technique, the heaven's cry, it had enough power to resist. Your defense is not bad, but if that's all you have, how can you be a match for me? Ian yelled and took out a small crossbow from his waist. This scene made Long Yu's heart tremble. Heaven's cry crossbow. Ian laughed loudly. Suddenly, the small crossbow condensed into arrows with celestial chi, forming a dense rain of arrows that shot toward Long Yu. With the power of the heaven's cry attached to the crossbow, at this moment, the entire Sek Valley was filled with endless woo-woo sounds, enveloping Long Yu. Heaven-suppressing power condense. As Long Yu felt the heaven-suppressing power descending from the sky, the heaven dragon spear in his hand seemed to jump in sync with his heartbeat. A dragon's roar seemed to come from the heaven dragon spear, causing the blood in Long Yu's body to boil. Harmony. Holding the heaven dragon spear in his hand, Long Yu felt the spear tip beating in sync with his heartbeat. He immediately understood that at this moment, he and the heaven dragon spear in his hand had actually harmonized and formed a resonance. Heaven dragon spear, my father's weapon. Let me see how strong you are. With a loud shout, Long Yu raised the spear tip, bringing with it an extremely strong airflow. This airflow did not sweep the surroundings or rush toward his opponent. Instead, it wrapped around Long Yu's body, causing him to leap high into the sky. Heaven Dragon Leap. When Long Yu and the Heaven Dragon Spear harmonized, he could instantly unleash an even greater power than the Heaven Dragon Spear. This Heaven Dragon Leap was an ability derived from the Heaven Dragon Spear. Using the spear tip to stir up the airflow, he leaped high into the sky. Then, like a heavenly dragon descending to the world, he smashed the spear into the ground. The Heaven's Cry crossbow bolts that were originally aimed at Long Yu all hit the walls of the Sek Valley, causing a series of terrifying Heaven's Cry explosions. If Long Yu had not dodged, even if he had cultivated the demon's subduing tyrant body to perfection, he would still have been killed in an instant. At this moment, Long Yu used the Heaven Dragon Leap and leaped high into the sky before the crossbow bolts arrived. This was completely out of Yan's expectations. He had considered that Long Yu might use a movement technique to dodge in all directions, so the Heaven's Cry crossbow had already covered the entire Sect Valley. No matter where Long Yu dodged to, he would be surrounded by countless crossbow bolts. Even in midair, there were dozens of crossbow bolts shooting over. However, Ian had not expected Long Yu to jump so high. The Heaven Dragon leaped over 100 feet high. Immediately after, Long Yu slammed his spear down towards the ground, bringing with it a tyrannical pressure of the heaven and earth, as well as the original pressure of the Sect Valley. This spear was truly like a heavenly dragon descending to the world, smashing down towards where Ian was at an extremely fast speed. Imperial Boulder. When Ian sensed the power contained in Long Yu's spear, his expression involuntarily changed. With a wave of his hand, he instantly condensed a boulder shield wall. High-grade defensive martial technique, Imperial Boulder, outstanding defensive capabilities. However, Long Yu's spear carried the momentum and crashed down. He actually relied on the pressure of the momentum to shatter the boulder shield wall condensed by Ian. Immediately following, that was a loud boom. A cloud of dust flew up in the Sect Valley. A figure dressed in grayish-white, resembling a rock, was sent flying by the violent air currents, falling heavily out of the boundaries of the Sect Valley. It was precisely Ian. Under this Heaven Dragon leap from Long Yu, even someone as strong as the number 7 core disciple, Ian was sent flying, rolling several hundred feet away. Senior apprentice brother, E. Originally, Lu Shucheng, who was standing outside the Sect Valley, wanted to see Long Yu being sent flying, but he did not expect that the one who was sent flying was actually Ian. He ran to Ian's side in a few steps and saw that Ian had actually fainted, knocked out by the violent momentum. Long Yu, how dare you to actually attack and injure someone in order to snatch the cultivation spot of the Sect Valley. I will report this to the Elder Cabinet and ask the Elder to make a decision. Lu Shucheng shouted sternly, then carried Ian with one hand and left the Sect Valley as if he was fleeing, quickly disappearing without a trace. He was afraid that Long Yu would make a move on him, but he did not know that Long Yu did not take him seriously at all. Asked the Sect Elders to make a decision. A cold glint flashed across Long Yu's eyes. If that Wu Jinshin really inverted right and wrong and wanted to convict him based on this, then Long Yu would have to question him. Could it be that this Sect Valley could only be used by one person to cultivate? Ian had occupied the Sect Valley to cultivate, and he, Long Yu, had merely said too much, and Ian had wanted to kill him. Could it be that he, Long Yu, was not allowed to resist? Preposterous. Long Yu did not think too much about it. He lowered his head and looked at the Heaven Dragon spear, carefully feeling the resonance between it and his bloodline. The Heaven Dragon spear, after resonance, can perform the Heaven Dragon leap, which can leap several hundred feet. Not only can it be used against enemies, but it can also be used to chase and escape. It is a divine skill. The blood in Long Yu's body was boiling, and he was still in a state of resonance with the Heaven Dragon spear. He could not help but want to know what level the Heaven Dragon spear was. However, he might only know the answer when he stepped into the true spirit realm. In the Sect Valley, the heaven-suppressing pressure is constantly descending. Comprehending the heaven-suppressing concept here will be twice the result with half the effort. When the surroundings quieted down, Long Yu began to comprehend the heaven-suppressing concept in the Sect Valley. Originally, he had only comprehended the heaven-suppressing force of heaven and earth. Now was the perfect time to consolidate it. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.